Yo, what up, everyone? So much for saving that monthly close, huh? Unless we get one of those Alameda pumps, you know what I'm saying, fam? We need one of those Alameda pumps. Somebody call Sam FTX and we need an Alameda pump right now. We definitely need that. We definitely need that. Ooh, that monthly is not looking so sharp now, fam. Ooh. It just ain't. It just ain't looking so good. They should have saved this. You know, the scam artist could have saved this shit, dude. Fuck, man. How we all doing tonight? We got Frag, one of the devs for TEALSTREET. You don't know TEALSTREET, it's a great trading terminal. Yo, Sprill, what's up? Tornado. SZC, I think that's SC Cuddy. One of the trolls at TEALSTREET. I love trolls. I love trolls. I love trolls, fam. Damn, we got the 3-day close today, fam. We got the 5-day and the weekly coming on Sunday. We got the monthly and the quarterly tonight. Fam, this is nuts. We got a huge close today. We got a huge guest. Couldn't ask for two great things. Obviously, a huge time frame close and a huge guest like we're having with Frag. You know, I went on the Trader Samwise stream earlier, and I talked about, you know, my strategy and all that stuff. But you know, Frag and Sam, they may not give a crap about, like, you know, the big time picture. You know, as soon as they identify it's a short trend, which they probably identified it very soon, up here like 46K, 40K, and as soon as they identify as a short trend, they start going with the current. For them, it's much easier to just work the lower time frames. They don't need to know about the big picture stuff. And I kind of respect that, because I'm more about like knowing everything from what's going to happen 2 years from now to 2 hours from now. And sometimes that can mess a trader up. And I'm definitely not as good as the execution part of trading, but I'm working on it. I'm getting there. Nobody starts out perfect. You can only try to grow and get better in this business. But we're going to be talking about the TEALSTREET terminal today. All right, with Frag and shit. God, I got chopped up. Look at all these. Look at all my trades here. Got chopped up today. But regardless, TEALSTREET has probably the dopest trading terminal there is, in my opinion. That's not like really a bias. It's just I've been using it for a while and I don't even know it. I don't even know it like as well as I probably should. But let's talk kind of about the TA. Let's see, make sure Frag. Yeah, we're giving Frag some time. He's gonna call me when he's ready. There's no rush for Frag, by the way. But look at this. We're losing. Arguably, say we're losing a crucial monthly level. Let's bring out the 3-month. Okay, the 3-month here. You could argue we're tapping down, man. Really tapping into, we're starting to tap into that liquidity here. To give you an understanding of where we've come from since the June 30th close, fam, July 1st close, is that, are you kidding me? Is that we have, we held the 6-month level, and here we are, we're closing a quarterly, from what I could see, under 19.698. Sam at the, we talked about this earlier. Sam at the June close, going into July, the 6-month close, saved the 6-month, just like the S&P saved the 6-month. We'll go over here to the S&P. You can see that same level and how they saved it. right here. Okay, they saved it. Now we're closing below it here on the quarterly. Next quarterly level, fam, yes, you guessed it, is right here, this perfect wick down. You know, I was expecting possibly a bounce here. There's still a chance for a bounce. Go over here to the daily. Now this is the 3-month and the monthly. They do not look good at all. I'm not even gonna lie. Like the monthly, the 3-month, they did not look good at all. Let's look at the daily for a second, and minus the fat red candle we're seeing here on the daily. We have this nice rounded kind of shape here, and until we break this down right there, I just wouldn't look for shorts down here. Zoom out, we're at this huge macro level, rounding bullish kind of TA, even all the way from here. In my opinion, you know, you don't lose the lows, fam, for long enough. You know, you can't float in front underneath resistance for a long time, fam. Just like you can't try to break through support forever. Eventually, we're gonna get a bounce, and that's what I think we're gonna see. Now, they're not gonna save the monthly. They're not gonna save the quarterly. There's a lot of, oh god, this looks horrible in the 12-hour. There's some bearish time frames right now going on. There's a fight going on. 4-hour, 3-hour, 2-hour. Daily, completely low volatility. Regardless. So we're gonna have Frag over here in a second. Fam, DJ Savage over here is gonna put up another ask me anything you want. No, they don't execute on Bing. We're working on it. We're working on it. Photo G. We're working on it. They got all kinds of who's buying Dodge and why. Who's buying Dodge and why? That's a good question. The fact that Dodge is still probably like top 10. It is, right? That's not good for a bottom. I'll tell you that. You guys see Solana? Let's check out Solana here for a second. Here's Bitcoin. Damn, dude. Look at this shit. Anybody notice this? BNB Bitcoin at all-time highs. Anybody notice that shit? What the fuck is this, dude? BNB Bitcoin at all-time highs. Not really that clean. I guess that's cleaner. Huh. Interesting. Wow, look at this. We haven't gone anywhere on the last 2 months for BNB. Couple wicks up, wick down. Very similar kind of wick up, wick down we saw recently with Bitcoin clearing out the market. Wick up, wick down. Haven't got it. This is usually not bullish. This type of candle shape, I would say, this kind of flat candle shape at resistance is usually distribution. So that's probably what that is, especially since BNB. Wow, it's kind of crazy. Look at this, the monthly BNB Bitcoin. Since I my first purchase of BNB was at like $6. I thought when it got to $14 it was expensive. I was buying it and I sold at 35. CZ is buying up all the Bitcoin. He's trying to convert BNB to be the coin. What about that narrative, fam? Oh, Frag, you called me? Frag probably called me. I'm ready whenever the call. All right. He says he's ready. What's up, my man? How are you? I don't know how you do it. Like, I've been trying to get into some type of consistent, I don't know, 5 hours a day of streaming, trading live and talking. It's hard. I mean, I see you doing the 9 to 4, basically the market. That's wow. Wow. Yeah, yeah. Well, you know what it is? I think what it is just like you have to you have to, we don't hear Frag. All right. This again. All right. So I know. I remember what it was though. Voice and audio. Oh, here, let me just. You hear Frag now? Talk, Frag.
Yo, what's up?
Yeah, you gotta come in. I hear it. You guys hear Frag now, right? Yeah. Okay, we're good.
What's up, Toro?
All right, so yeah, we're good. We're good. Perfect. Like I said, I even was practicing this earlier to make sure that when I went live with you, that I wasn't gonna have audio issues. So I was fucking around with it, and I was like, all right. So I think if I just switch to what I'm using to default or default to what I'm using, it'll flip. And so luckily, figured that out. But regardless, I think it's just some. I don't want to. You want to keep like a certain composure, I think, for people when you're live. I think that's what it comes down to. It's not necessarily you want to like look a certain way. I don't give a fuck. You know, it's just you have to keep a certain composure when people are on you. You know, you can't just look like a full on. I don't know. You can't just do your normal things. You know, pick your nose,
Dude,
pull out your eyebrows. You
oh,
know.
there's so many things. Like I'll notice too, because like if somebody posts a clip of me, I'll see like, oh, dude, like I touch my beard a lot, and like I gotta stop touching my beard. There's like all these like weird habits and stuff that you
Yeah,
have, and
yeah,
it's like it just becomes painfully obvious.
yeah, dude. All right, so it's your turn to stream. You're gonna pull up
All right, what do you?
Teal Street. You're gonna pull up. I think I would love to get like a rundown of what just happened with the updated Teal Street. I mean, I know a little bit more. I would just love for everyone of like my fam, my community to kind of see the new shit and how you can take advantage of the market. I never realized, like, if you're not using this as like a trader, in my opinion, like you're so behind. Like the quick execution. I mean, even for me, like just market in, market out, whatever. It's so beautiful.
Right.
I don't know. It's really nice. That's like the one thing I could argue. Like that's all you need is just that alone is the speed, the convenience, all kinds of things. Yeah, you started that. The equity chart here. This is nice. You gotta explain what the red and blue dots mean. That's where you took
Okay. Wow, is
losses.
this up to date? I thought I did better today. On Bitcoin, I did pretty good. But let's just look at. So this is the equity chart. So like
Yeah,
same thing as Coin Market Man, and this is brand new in the current update. And I'll try to like not make this a Teal Street ad.
yeah,
If you want
yeah.
to sign up, Savage has a ref link that you can use. But
Exclamation
basically,
Teal Street. Exclamation Teal Street in chat, fam. Exclamation Teal Street. So hold on, let me just drop that real quick. I think that. Yep, there it is. Go ahead. Go
all right,
ahead.
so this is the same thing as like Coin Market Man,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
So Teal Street's free to use. We're pretty much subsidized by exchanges. So at this point right now, we don't have to charge for anything. And this is uh legitimately like something Coin Market Man charges like $800 a year for now, and it's like free to use. Um, but all it is like you can look at your trade results for the last 7 days. You can look at it for the last 24 hours, or you can look at it like just today, and then you can see I have it set to result right now.
yep, yep.
You can see the P&L, the position, all the money you made or lost. You can see me do this thing I do constantly where I'll see some momentum and I'll enter a position, then I'll cut it underwater and do it like for an hour.
Actually, that's just
Well,
what
you
I
can see
did.
I did that
That's
for
what I
20
did.
minutes or a half hour.
Yeah, that's what I did all day today. Like literally did it all day
Oh,
today.
is
I started up, I don't know, like $500. Nothing crazy. Was doing really well. I literally longed the bottom this morning at the dip on the news of
mhm.
whatever official recession, and then I rode it all the way up. Didn't collect TP, and then collected TP late, and then longed lower, and then didn't collect TP when we dropped below 19.5. I didn't have a stop loss. Shame on me, but whatever. I was watching it, and gotta love that chasing, catching knives. At bottom.
Yeah, I was getting kind of scared because we were talking earlier, like save the monthly. Like I was thinking it, you were thinking it, but there's like 50 minutes and like nothing happened. But I
Yeah,
got in here and I started getting scared. Like I got in on this candle
yeah.
and we were doing marbles at Sam's channel, and I got scared and I just got out, break even.
Oh, you just showed that? Wait, how'd you show
Oh, I
that in
just
and out?
placed an order.
Oh, okay. Oh, I got it. Okay, perfect.
Yeah, so there's like hotkeys.
Yeah,
Like I
yeah.
can just do this all day.
Yeah. That's dope. And so, what do you? That's the S, right?
Yeah, I think it's set to S by default. So like
Yeah.
anybody who plays Counter Strike or Fortnite or whatever, I have mine in like WASD.
Uh-huh.
So I have like W to place the order, S to cancel the order.
Okay, nice.
So I can just do like place, cancel, cancel, cancel.
Yeah.
I mean, it's really fast. I don't think like when I think the best way to explain it to people is like I truly believe it's like the fastest way to go from like idea to trade,
Yeah.
to like get it into the exchange, because like everything else you're like punching in numbers, you're trying to even find the price. Like almost all day I never even know what the price is. I'm just like looking at the structure and just like clicking the chart, you know?
Yeah, totally. I think fat fingers is a great argument. I don't know. I'm not that tall. I'm like 6 feet tall, but either way, I have like big hands, and my fingers are. I don't know what it is, but I definitely have fat fingers. There was one time when I wasn't doing this full time yet. I was just kind of trading on the side. 2019, 2020, and I added an extra zero during a personal training client. So like I was still personal training as pre-pandemic in New York City, making good money, making really good money in New York City as a personal trainer. And I went to one client, and I came out and I was limited and I couldn't fucking figure it out. And then I go
Hmm.
look at the order. I added an extra zero, so instead of having a $10,000 order, which is like very normal for me, I had like $100,000 order, and the direction went, whatever, the wrong way or whatever, whatever happened.
You do
But
you ever
that happened
dude,
as like a
sometimes I
five
do
finger
that.
fat. That happened as a fat finger, dude, and I remember telling people, I even wrote it on Twitter. I was like, dude, I had a fat finger today. I lost this much. I don't even think I got liquidated. I just like closed it. But either way, it was, I mean, you think about it, 10 times more weight you're putting into a trade
Than you expect. Yeah.
And then you go the wrong way and you close it. And I think that ended up actually going the right way for me. But the problem was, is I wasn't planning that, you know, and showing this, how you can kind of click just seamlessly. All right, this is where I want to put an order right here, like right at this cluster, this point of control or whatever. But go ahead.
Dude, do you ever do that though? Okay, this sounds crazy, and I think you're gonna relate. Sometimes I accidentally do like a large order and I didn't mean to, and then I like for a little while I start convincing myself that it's meant to be, and I want to keep it open.
No, I can't say I've done that.
I'll sit there and I'll be like, oh man, though, was this the universe saying I should have did this? And then I'll like go underwater and then I'll have to close it at like a good loss.
I've definitely longed when I was supposed to short before because like when I thought I was going to long. And I think just looking at this, I'm so used to, I don't think people realize like I'm not the best trader in the world, you know, not even close.
Same,
but like,
yeah.
I have pretty decent success trading from my cellular device on almost a 24-hour basis. If you don't understand that and just kind of like oh my, it's crazy. It's not easy, first off. And when you have success, it's like awesome. But there's the downfall is like you don't need to be looking at your trade all the time. You have a setup, you enter, you have an invalidation to that setup, and you just let it ride. If you get invalidated and you're like, all right, on to the next setup. Like that didn't work. Why didn't it work? Let's reevaluate, whatever. But too many times when I am on my mobile device and I am having success on my mobile device, I'll be looking at that device that's in my pocket way too much, way more than I should be. As a person that like has the conviction, has the right setups, has the right variables, has the right, you know, looks to a setup, and you're not letting your trade go through, you know, like not, I don't know, that's what I have the most. I don't let the setups ride enough. That's probably my biggest problem. I'll close it before my stop, like just stupid shit. Still, it drives me nuts. 4 or 5 years later.
I don't think you're too off.
Yeah.
No, because the market doesn't really give those kind of setups right now. Like I haven't caught a swing setup in I don't know how long. Actually, I think maybe CPI, but it was like a day. You know?
Yeah. In and out in a day.
I mean, what is the result most of the time? Is it that it goes in your direction, or would it got stopped?
Yeah. So most of the time it goes in my direction. Right. No, there's times I've been letting my stops ride a little bit more because I think for the last month it's been pretty textbook to where as far as stops goes, my stops haven't been getting hit lately. This month has been fine. I'm not talking about necessarily this month, just previous struggles. August was tough at that triple kind of top there at 24, 20, 25K. That was probably the toughest. I think you even said yourself how tough that was, just because it was just so, I don't know. You just kept thinking it was going to break down.
Non-stop.
Yeah, you kept thinking it was going to break down. It didn't break down. You wanted more from it. I didn't TP quick enough up there, but I learned a lot from that because when we dropped, I TP'd a lot, like just scalping longs, and I did very well. So it went from like August where I was like taking shorts but not TPing, and then ending in losses because we pumped off of, you know, some CPI news that we shouldn't have pumped off. People were pumping off of like 8.5 inflation, that one pump up there at like 20. We went down to like 21K up to like 24K in like one day off of 8.5% inflation. I'm like, dude, nobody understands what 8.5% inflation means. It's 3 years of normal inflation in one fucking year. Like, wake the fuck up. Your dollar's now worth 30 cents. Congrats. Like that's something we're pumping the markets on. Like, It's fucking crazy.
What has been the highest like federal funds rate? I guess.
I don't know.
Oh Jesus, like
I
going
think,
crazy.
I think the 80s actually. My aunt, who's in her 60s, she's a mortgage lender in North Korea, and she actually told me that at one point she was paying a 14 or 15% mortgage in the 80s.
Oh boy.
Like, think about that. Like we're seeing like 7% right now, 6% after like 2 years ago it was like less than 3. But we're seeing like 6, 7%, I guess, right now. And I think it's the 80s. Yeah, look, there it is right there. Like, so I guess it would be like late 70s, early 80s.
It's out of control.
Yeah, it is
Dude,
out of
this
control.
time was like they couldn't stop it. Dixie was pumping, SPX was pumping, everything was just like going like crazy. Like where's Dixie right here?
What's your opinion right there on the Fed fund rate? I didn't even know there's a fucking chart for that. Awesome.
I didn't know till like a week ago, so don't feel bad. But dude,
Right.
I'm still learning this stuff. Like I'm still learning all of the traditional finance stuff. I started in crypto in February of 2021 and I never did equities, I never did stocks. I had a 401k from work, but I never thought like people really sat there and like traded and were successful at it.
Yeah.
Because it's really, really hard. And then like I got into crypto and I didn't have to know this. So the problem is like in the last year, you have to 100% know all of this traditional finance stuff. It's like you're trading stocks with like extra steps and extra like volatility and manipulation. So it's actually a pain in the ass is what it is. I don't know. What do you think about it? About the correlation now and everything?
Well, so I honestly came out of the summer buying the lows like 29, 30K and spot and stuff last year, and I right around 46K when we dropped to 42K, I was calling an end to it. So I was like, all right, that was it. And I closed my position, spot position, from 30K at 40 to 46K. That's I'm very happy with that position. I'm still happy. I'm still living off of like just a swing spot position of that magnitude a year ago. But I became bearish very early. I was becoming more resourceful and got more. I got like there's I took the opportunity to get more research into the markets. And in September of last year, I was one of the guys that was getting completely wrecked on Twitter, calling for the bottom or the top is in, and we're going down. And then we just kept pumping on my system and on all that volatility indicator, just that volatility indicator alone. I showed you, I was showing you like, and the RSI alone. I was like, this 69K move was so weak. Like, look at RSI alone. You see the bearish divergence from 64 to 69K. Huge bearish divergence on the weekly, daily, whatever you want to call it. And so I became bearish right there at the 40K area, that after our first drive up to 69K. So we came out of summer, year later, September, down to right there. I became bearish there, and I shorted all the way. I think I shorted to, no joke, I think 47 to 52. That's what I shorted. 47 to 52, legit shorted that to hell. And
you want to know something crazy?
Huh.
That point was legitimately when I became a profitable trader. Was like it was actually this 44K. I basically like shorted this with like my last of my money, and I made like 20x leverage, made like 15K,
Yeah.
and then just like longed with no punishment whatsoever, like all the way to this peak.
Oh my god.
And that was like how I became profitable, was this move. Like like you were saying with from 30K up to here.
Yeah.
Like I'm still living off of this trade basically.
Yeah.
Because it was just longing your longs. Like every time we broke resistance, I just added, because it was FTX, right? And you could take your P&L and you could just add it back in. So like at the bottom, I had like 15K, and I was almost liquidated.
Hold on. FTX, you could take your P&L in the middle of a trade and then fucking add it to a trade.
Oh, dude, yeah.
What?
Yeah, they count your unrealized P&L
Oh
as part of
my
your balance.
goodness.
So
I never knew
here,
that. That's crazy.
here, I can give like a little
So that
four
long
story before.
that long you're talking about was actually right before that pump. So where you became profitable, I longed the bottom, the wick off right there in the summer. Well, yeah, you long. Yeah,
Oh,
that's where
you
you
long
became
the
profitable.
bottom. I long
Yeah,
this
yeah,
at
yeah. So
$44K.
but I sold at 46K. So imagine I went from 30 to 46K, and then we topped at 52K, and we came down to the 40. Right at your 52K top to your left there is when you became profitable trader. Is when I became extremely bearish, and we came down here, and I didn't. There was completely spoofing the fucking bids all the way up to 69K.
Yeah.
It
Oh,
was
it was absolutely insane.
100%,
So,
like, drove me nuts.
are you want to hear the craziest thing? I didn't know, like, I don't know if this is a thing, but oh man, dude, FTX was so crazy. I don't know your experience with FTX, but do you know about FTX's liquidations, how they work?
No, I've never used FTX. Never.
So they actually do this thing, and it's fucking insane, where they pause liquidations. And I know it's like no, like that like don't say that. Like people shouldn't believe that. Well, there's something, it's like manipulation. They're using as manipulation. But like longs during this time,
Yeah.
they would pause liquidations all the time. So like you would be in liquidation, and you can read their docs about this. It says of all of the traders in liquidation mode, every second there's a 1 in 6 chance to liquidate 10% of the position or something like that,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
It's like, so it's rolling a dice, and then it
yeah.
cuts your position. It doesn't liquidate you, it cuts off. It starts like with your position. So it'll
Yeah.
go 10% of your position, 10% of your position. Well, here's the thing, right? And then people in chat are going to be like, this is insane, because they had a limit on how much they would liquidate in order to protect the market from having these liquidation problems
Yeah.
like other markets have.
Yeah.
So if you had a larger position, it was like you could only get capped 50K position size at once. So like if you had like a $1 million long, and you can sit in liquidation mode, and just every once in a while it'll like cut 50K off your position,
Yeah.
and then you could like ride it out.
So
Like
what
it would do
FTX
it was
is that's interesting what FTX is doing. So FTX, like, obviously seeing they invest in Robinhood. They're like the second biggest, third biggest shareholder of Robinhood now. What's interesting about that is, like, and we talked about this earlier, I was like, and I'm kind of bigger. Not bigger. I'm a, I'm getting into option trading more. I've known option trading for a while. I haven't been taking advantage of it, but now we have a completely different trend change in the market. I mean, if you can imagine, if I can make a lot of money off a 1 month, basically a 1 month put, a 30-day put on Apple, you can make a lot of money in this market off of just a few options. If you're here in the States or in the EU, I think it's EU 50 or the EU 10 or whatever they call it over there. But anyways, that's very similar to what they do in just standard exchanges, believe it or not. Right? Is they'll do a
yeah.
margin call. That's similar to kind of like a margin call system, where they do a margin call like, all right, you can deposit the money. If you don't deposit money, we may close out your position, and we may not let you like open another position for a while, or we may not, like, and it's always kind of a roll of the dice situation. I've been margin called before, probably like 10, 12 times, and none of them I've actually been called on. So they'll do the margin call, and they usually only call you if you're like way deep down. Like if you're like down 10% a day, and imagine stocks, it's got to be a crazy trend for you to like short a stock and it goes up 10%, or you long a stock and it goes down 10%. Like, that's stocks is not crypto, so there's not the same volatility. But every once in a while they'll actually margin call you, and I've read about it, and I've read enough about it just because I don't want to get my Ameritrade account, North Korean Ameritrade account version closed. But yeah, I mean, that's kind of interesting how FTX does it. I think that would be great if we get some regulation. I don't think people understand regulations like the best thing for crypto. Get some fucking regulations. I have no problem paying my taxes. I've been paying my taxes. I got a good accountant, whatever. you have one mining machine at home, you realize you could like write off like 25% of your crypto gains. Frag?
Oh,
Oh yeah.
I did not know
Better.
that.
Yeah, and it does not have to be like a newer version. Just go ahead and pick up like an old one and hook it up in your place and then call it a business. Not even joking. Like Office Space, there's like crazy tax advantages just now, recently in the last like year or two, to having a mining setup. I don't know how specifically, North Korea is, but there's some areas in North Korea. But yeah, you can. It's just income. That's what it is. You just call it income, and you're like, all right, I mined this much.
You just write it off. It's a business expense.
Yeah, and the crazy thing is, if you add 1 or 2 mining machines to your thing, which doesn't make diddly shit, you just add a couple things, adds a little power expense, whatever, and which we won't have the same power crunch that you has. You add a couple of those, even if they're old, and you can backtrack those profits like 5 years. So you can be like, okay, I was mining this, I didn't report it till now. So you can. There's a lot of kind of kinky ways to backtrack it.
Yeah, last year was like my first year trading, and I ended up paying like a lot of short-term capital gains, and that was a very new thing to me, and it was very like unexpected, I guess. But now I have a nice IRS bill that I still have yet to pay, but basically it ends up being like a 3% interest loan, I guess.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was also kind of awkward too because I made most of my money at the end of the year, and then I started losing it at the beginning of the year. So it was like a really awkward time to make and lose money, basically. But I don't know. That's one of the biggest things I say like to my community, or I guess Trader Teal Street Trader Samwise community, is like I'm not the best trader, but like I was taught early to, if you make wins, withdraw them, right? And then when
Yes.
you deposit and you have to deposit, you put a small amount. And like I call them like bullets, right? So like even though like this year was like a pretty bad year for me, I still like I deposited like 60K and I withdrew like 70K. I mean, it's like I'm not down for the year, but like I mitigated my losses by basically just putting small amounts in. And
Yeah.
then if I got big wins like on options, or I got big wins from, it was pretty much only my big wins this year were from options, but I would just withdraw like the majority of it. It was the
Yeah.
best way to do it. I mean, that's what Sam taught me. And I don't think I would have, as like a new trader, I think I would have probably did the thing where it's like, oh, I'm gonna like make this into a million, like I've never made a million, but I mean, I've made 6 figures and I kept at least half of it.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's actually a great
But
point.
like,
I think you mentioned the 10% theory, right? Like, is that from like credible crypto cred or whatever? Weren't you talking about that
10% for
or?
what?
So basically, like what I'm willing to trade with at a certain time, like I have a certain amount of trade, right? Like in my account, like people I don't think people realize like, oh my god, like Savage, she's broke, got $671 right here, like. No, I'm not actually. If you go to my, account over here, I got like 6K. And when you go to you go to your account and you put some into your perpetual or your trading account,
Your
because you have
risk.
spot your
Yeah.
risk exactly. I'm putting 600. I was up, believe it or not, I haven't added any in a while. I had over at one time I had over 12 or $1,300 just today in realized profit, but I didn't close at 2,200, unfortunately, and I've been kind of catching that on the way down, admittingly. But regardless, there's the 10% rule, which is if you're like have $1,000 to trade, you start with $100, and you start at the position size for $100, which is like, proper position size, 12, 20, maybe 10, 20x, whatever you're comfortable with. I tell most people that have never traded before, don't ever, just don't even use leverage. You use your leverage on a short maybe, but you don't really have to use leverage on longs. You buy a spot. But regardless, you use 10% of your portfolio. So you have $1,000, you only use $100. You lose that $100 and think about it as like that $100, like that's all you have. That's how I think of it. It's like,
Yeah.
and
It's
so
risk.
it's
Once
risk.
it once it gets in there, it's not money anymore. It's like a tool to trade and make more money. Like it's not gonna pay your bills while it's in your leverage account. It's gonna only pay bills when it's in your bank account, right? So it's like
Yeah.
the tool to put the money in the bank, right? And you don't want to lose your tool.
Yep.
That's what I try to tell people. And exactly what you're saying is like 10% rule. Like I even say 5% for new traders if they're gonna use leverage. But it's like you're going to blow through that. And if you're trading shitty market conditions like you're trading right now, and you blow all your money, and then we go into up only, and you have no money to trade
Yes.
with when it's easy, you're going to fucking want to just like punch yourself in the face, you know?
Yep. Yeah.
Like,
Yep. That's a great
it's
point.
not worth risking right now. It's not. It's just shitty market conditions. Be careful.
Yeah. And like you said, like I know I'm not far. I've actually had, like I said, September was great. I'm not even complaining about September. I know I'm not far from having a great like low time frame system, but if you're just kind of like a long-term system player, long 19K, throw a little bit of leverage on it, have like a nice low liquidation of like 17, even 16K on a decent size, and just let it ride. Like go, if you are spending too much time looking at it, because what me and you on a daily basis is so much harder to do than just swing trading. We're talking about swing trading. I could give most people a system off of one EMA, one MA on the daily time frame, a system that will work for swing trading on whether we're in a recession, whether we're in an up only market. And I don't think most people realize it's like what we're trying to do is we're trying to catch every wave. Not necessarily we have to be in always have to be in a trade, but these waves are profitable. You need to make 1-2%. You've mastered the trade of trading, and then you make a 1 or 2% move, and you throw a little bit of leverage on top of that. You're making some money. Most people are like trying to be necessarily like us. They're like, oh, I want to we'll catch the bottom and sell the top of all these waves, and then they start learning about this shit. I think it's most people. It's like fucking the restaurant business. Like 90% of these people, you're not going to be able to ever do this. I think the best thing you could do is try to buy low, think about for like a 2 to 3 year time frame right now, and sell high. If you want to become a trader, that actually takes full time hours and work. You're not going to be able to have a full time job and be able to become a full time trader. That just does not work.
That reminds me of like a story, but I want to go back to it 1 second. I try to tell people too is like if you have a full-time job, you just need to set lucky entries like while you're at work and not like stare at your phone and like lose your job. Because I remember like September of last year is like when I quit my job to work TEALSTREET full time, but it was like a week before I quit, my boss was like, he's like, you seem distracted. Like, you know what I mean? Like you don't seem very present. It's because I was like staring at my phone, like like working, like looking at trades and like trading on the computer and not getting my work done and shit. And that's like not the right way to do it. Like I think I got very lucky in a lot of circumstances, but the other thing is the full-time thing. And you said earlier on the other stream, you're like, you have a photographic memory, and I believe you because you always point out these things with like almost exact precision. But this one story, this is basically just a testimony to having to have chart time, like being in front of charts and trying to get patterns. But I tell a story in the other stream where it's this is from the book Atomic Habits.
Okay.
There's a nurse, okay?
Habits, and like habits, HABITS.
Yeah, Atomic Habits. It's
Okay,
like
nice.
if you want to have productivity, it's a really good book. But there's an example in it. I forget what their point of it was, but the story is there's this nurse, right? And she is actually it's a paramedic, and she goes to a family get together and sees her father, and her father-in-law is there, and she goes, "Oh my God, like you look like shit." And he goes, "Well, thanks. Like you don't look so good yourself." He's like, "No, no, 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 no. you don't look good. You need to go to the hospital. And he went to the hospital, and he was like 1 hour away from dying from a blood clot, right? But this woman was a paramedic, and she was able to see the signs on his face and couldn't exactly express why. She could see that he was like having a problem with his heart, but she like saved his life because she had so much exposure to people who were having heart conditions and could see like the micro look on the face. But like when you're first starting trading and you can't look at it all day, you you are like so like you need to get the chart time is the best way of trying to say it. Like sometimes you'll be the same way. You look at the chart and you don't know why, but you're like, this is bullish, but you don't really have a real reason. It's probably because you just have this mental snapshot library of
Yeah.
all of these patterns and all of this memory and all this experience looking at charts all day, you know?
Yeah.
And it takes, I don't know, man, it took me at least a year to start getting a year of looking like regularly at charts to start getting a good intuition and getting like a good sense of things. Right now it's tough, but um in trending markets, it's a little bit easier to kind of see stuff.
Yeah.
Like you just be like, this is SPF. This is like we were talking earlier.
So let me ask you a question. When you first started, uh, about almost, what, year and a half ago in 2021, February, and you started like trading, right? And you got wrecked early. Most people, anybody that starts early, I mean, I don't know a perfect person that's never lost money. So anyone that starts early
Yeah.
definitely loses money. And you gotta lose money. It's like anything else, you spend money to make money or spend money to lose money. But when you first started doing this, did you like learn from a TA aspect or did you learn from a trading aspect? And that's what I'm kind of fascinated on. I feel like you have this kind of trader, this lower time frame than me, maybe, because you saw how I can play these larger time frames, and I showed you all these huge points of like the 2 month and the 4 month and all this shit that you may have not seen, but that may not matter day to day. Now I'm kind of like trending in your direction, and maybe you might be trending a little bit in my direction, but I'm like, hey, I got all this extra cash, a big huge spot swing in the next year. Savage knows these lows, a little bit more than me. I think this could be, and I'm trying to get your direction, be like, I'm still trying to become a really good day to day trader. How did you kind of start working the trades and stuff? I'm really interested to hear that.
I mean, so it kind of,
Was it like price
I kind of
action
started out
or
more as TA. I
okay?
kind of started out more as TA actually. And I think like, so I'll tell you, I never trade before. I never did crypto, but I saw the Doge hype on Reddit. I was like, oh shit. Like people say, like if you buy Doge, you'll 100x and you'll go to $1, right? And it kind of was like close.
Yeah,
But I bought like a bunch of Doge in February, the end of February. And then
2021,
I found
2021, right? Yeah, the bull market.
2021, yeah.
Yeah, the bull
So it was
market.
like three
Fam.
cents.
Yeah, bull market fam. You hear that? Bull market
And
Doge bottom buyer right here.
I think I got 3 cents. Well, the thing was right after that, like probably like a month, not even, I found Sam's channel, Trader Samwise,
Yeah.
on Twitch. And I was kind of like thinking, I'm like we were talking about this before too. Like I'm like, oh, like you can short, like you can make money the other direction. Like, oh, interesting. Like you can use all this stuff. There's all these exchanges, leverage and stuff. So when I was first starting, I was just doing like altcoin setups, like TA, strictly like buy big levels, sell resistance. And it like worked until obviously probably for most people up until May 19th
Yep.
when we started crashing, and I just kept trying to long things and I kept dying because I didn't know any better. But don't do what I did. By the time I was down here, by the time I got to this point, I just kept trying the same thing, kept trying the same thing. And then I was like, Giga Brain, short, 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 try to short everything all the way up here, like fully became a bear right at the bottom and was down 35K by the time I got to this
Oh,
point. I put in way too
wow.
much money. Yeah, and that was a lot of money for me.
If we
That
had,
was like a
you
lot of
realize
money
if
for
we had
me.
known each other back then, like it would have been so great, like a great co-op, because I was like so bullish in the summer and most people weren't. And you might have been like, oh,
Right.
this guy's making a fucking great point. Like, we're retesting the quarterly and 6-month level. That's what that 29K is. We were retesting basically the 2021 one open.
Oh, I wasn't thinking
But
anything
that's what I'm
like
saying.
that.
Yeah, exactly. That's I'm just thinking like, fuck, man. But then you turned bullish at that drop to 42K afterwards when I turned bearish. So like we were just the opposite.
Right.
I'm just saying we could have helped each other out there.
So dude, like right here.
Yeah, right.
Okay, so I was down like 35K. I was down to 2K.
Wow.
I think Sam gave me this 2K as well. Like I borrowed it from him, and I shorted like this with like literally like it sounds like it's out of a movie, but like with the last of my money 20x, and then I TP'd it. I forget. I think I TP'd it like somewhere here or here or something, and I almost got
Nice
liquidated
swing.
again. Yeah, dude, I couldn't believe it actually. I was like kind of really riding a high for. I think that's why a winning streak is so important because I was riding a high for so long after that. But I actually almost got liquidated because I think I longed this level, and it was like 20x leverage. I think Sam SBF saved me with that liquidation thing, right?
Yeah.
We were talking about.
Yeah.
But once we got into the CFD thing, we were talking about there was going to be a Bitcoin CFD.
Yeah.
I think that was kind of some of the catalyst for this.
Yeah.
I longed the shit out of this. And then I did this thing where I call it like a Russian doll, and you can like, you know what a Russian doll is? Like, it's like this toy thing. Like the little doll goes in the bigger doll, they nest in each other, right? So I did this thing, and I tried to replicate this, and I've lost so much money trying to replicate this because there was never another point where the market was so forgiving with longs during my trading period as like this point right here.
Yeah.
But basically, I would 20x long, and then like every time we got to a new level, I would do like an SR flip. So like say this was going up and it came back down to test it, and I longed. And I added it with the unrealized P&L on FTX. I added it. So like say I added like 1 Bitcoin.
Yeah.
And then I would put a stop for like 1 Bitcoin under it. And then the next level, I would do the same thing. I would like long.
Yeah.
And then I'd put a stop for 2 Bitcoin. And I'd keep adding to this position, right? So I was 15K balance at the bottom. And by the time I got up here, I was doing this on stream last year too. This is like I started streaming because I was like on Sam's channel because Sam was not really trading. And I was like, oh, like get on the channel. People wanted me to get on because of this.
Yeah.
But like doing the same thing. By the time I got to the top, I was like 250K balance in my position, the largest position I've ever done. I've done this size twice. It was like 22 Bitcoin for like 1.6 million.
Wow.
Size, I think.
Wow.
Because like Bitcoin was so freaking expensive back then.
Yeah.
But I just kept just like doing it, and I just didn't get punished like throughout the whole period. And then, I mean, as you would, first time being a trader, around this area, I immediately lost like 100K of it.
Yeah.
And then I think my net worth was like 300 at the max because I had like spot too. But like basically like lost almost 100K of it, lost more down to here. And then like I stopped trading, basically chopping in December 25th. I was like on stream losing money
from 69.
I was doing everything, dude.
Yeah, you were.
I was like, I can't even remember. I was in like a manic episode or something.
Yeah,
you know?
Yeah.
Like this was the days I was saying I was like, I would be up for like 40 hours on the stream. This is before I did it with a camera, so like I feel like it was a little easier, but it would just be like nonstop trying to swing these positions and hold them underwater. Yeah. Like I had a kind of a bad tendencies back then. Like I had bad habits where it's like in some ways like I need to be lean more in this direction of what I did back then, where like I would hold things really long underwater, or I would only all in, like every trade was like all in, you know?
Yeah.
And so I would be up with these huge trades, like sitting here for like days with like a long, you know?
Yeah.
And just like sweating it on stream. And now it's like my problem is I cut things way too quickly.
Yeah.
Like I'm just out of
But
trade.
that's not but I think that's the way to do it right now. Like just in these market conditions, I think that's the way to do it. I've been more punished probably in the last 3 months. I mean, I would be really,
Dude, it
really, really
sucks.
profitable if I had taken profits a lot better, like earlier in the last 3 months. I learned in September and August. I was horrible at doing it. I mean, I was fucking bearish from 23 to 25K. I mean, imagine that. Like, there's no reason you should have lost money up there if you had TP'd quicker. You know, myself. I'm talking about myself. Whatever. You know, if you TP quicker, then you can always re-enter a short. You know, like it's, or you just wait for the confirmation of the breakdown. Excuse me, I'm tapping the mic. Wait for the confirmation of the breakdown. So, you know, it's, you know, the market was going to
I
punish.
actually, yeah, market is like, I didn't realize that too. I don't know when you realized it. I didn't realize what you just said until like a week ago, where I was sitting there and I wasn't even at the computer and I was just like, oh, that's why I'm not making money because the market is like not giving big moves.
Yeah,
And I'm waiting for like nice moves. And I was just like had an epiphany. I'm like, why the hell didn't I think of this? Like,
I
and
mean,
the thing is like that's the biggest money you can make is off swings. It's like it's such a double-edged sword. Is like, do I miss it? Do I chop all the time? Like,
yeah, yeah, but
I mean, look at CPI and stuff, dude. It's
every one of those
like,
events are they're just using it, and I say they, you know, they're just how the fuck is Bitcoin correlated so much to S&P like that on a daily basis?
oh,
You just see them fighting it though. I know you see it too, Frag. Like they're fucking fighting
and I,
this killer sell off. It's just been straight down for the S&P, and Bitcoin's like rounded bottom right here. Like what the fuck, man? What do you think of that?
dude, I want to get into that because I was hoping we would get to the correlation thing. Did you ever watch Always Sunny in
Oh
Philadelphia?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Or
That
see that
used to
show?
be a big. I mean, I haven't watched like probably the newest seasons, the last couple of seasons, but I've watched like the first five.
Do you remember when they worked in the mailroom and he was like Pepe Sylvia, Pepe Sylvia?
Yeah.
He's like a conspiracy dude. I've got like a tinfoil hat about the correlation, and I actually prepared this because I wanted to like explain this whole thing. I was hoping I would get a chance, but
No,
so
here's your opportunity. And real quick,
here, let's go.
do you think that the Bitcoin front runs S&P? Somebody on fucking Bitcoin,
Sometimes,
somebody on fucking Bitcoin, like seconds before though. I'm like talking seconds. Like you'll see fucking Bitcoin start pumping, then fucking S&P lagging, and like what the fuck is that shit? And I'm like, dude, somebody's fucking working at that Bitcoin post office, dude, and knows.
yeah.
That's what it is. Know what's going
Where's the
on, dude. Oh man.
All right, well, let's just do this. Let's do a new chart. Okay, so we actually I didn't know about these guys. Okay. Do you know about jump trading?
No, no.
So okay,
Jump
I
trading?
didn't know about this. We actually, yeah, jump trading. We talked to these guys as Teal Street. We're
Okay.
actually looking to see if they wanted to invest in us, but they didn't because they're only into algorithmic companies.
Okay.
But they talked about themselves, and I didn't know about this trading firm. So like Jump Trading is the biggest algo trading firm in equities and forex.
Okay.
Okay,
Okay.
and they have like they told us they have 4,500 employees and they have 450 in this their new Jump Crypto
Okay.
algo firm, right? So if you go look, here's where we're getting into the hat, right?
Yeah.
I'm just gonna close this. So in September of last year, this is when they introduced their Jump Crypto. So they said, admittedly, we're created a company. We are an algorithmic trading firm, and we're joining crypto. You know,
Yeah.
massive, massive company. When, oops, let's go back to September of last year, and this is where it gets into Pepe Sylvia. Oh, no,
Dude, why can't I do this on a fucking chart? Like I can't put fucking
I need to hide these drawings. Okay, so in September of last year is when they joined crypto, and they're the biggest trader, algorithmic trader in equities and forex.
Okay.
So here is right here September.
Yes.
right?
Yes.
Okay, so before September,
What
that's
is
this line right here.
what is this lower one?
Sorry, that's SPX on the
Okay.
bottom.
Okay. Okay.
SPX on the
No,
bottom.
DXY. It's DXY.
No, oh, is it?
Yeah.
Sure. Oh, it's DXY. God damn it. Hold on.
I know
I
what you
gotta
mean.
show SPX. Um, hold on. Should have prepared this better.
Check it.
New paint and delete.
And
Yeah, we're like looking at a
how
lot
did
of
you do that new
correlations
paint?
on the
How did
channel.
you do that new paint shit? Okay.
Okay, so when you do the plus in the
Yep.
upper
Yep.
left,
Yep.
if you hover it,
Oh,
it's you have
fucking
new
A,
paint as an
dude.
option.
Thank you so much.
Oh,
All
it's
right.
so nice.
Oh,
I think
thank
it's
you
a
so
new thing
much.
actually.
I'm fucking out of my mind sometimes.
Okay.
There's just so much. There's just so much with TradingView. Anyways, go on. Go on.
TradingView is actually incredible. I
It
always
is.
say it's like the most impressive web page software like I've ever seen in my life. Like it's amazing that this is a website.
Yeah.
Okay, so September 2021 they join right here. And you
Okay.
see the line, right?
Yes.
So look to the left of this line. S&P on the bottom, just S&P doing its own thing.
Yep.
And if you look up to Bitcoin, doing its own thing, right?
Yep. Yep.
Now let's go to the right and just follow this. Jump Crypto, the largest algorithmic trading firm in equities and Forex,
What
joins
the
the
fuck? I
crypto
see it.
markets.
I see it.
We're following like directly now. And from that day on,
What the fuck is that,
doing
dude?
basically the same thing. Isn't that crazy?
We gotta
Look at
sue
this.
them.
I don't know.
We
I don't
gotta
think what
no
they're. I
Kim
don't know if it's
Jong Un.
illegal.
No, Kim Jong Un is gonna support us on this. You know they are. He is.
Right.
He's a good friend of
I
ours.
think when there's regulation. So okay, I think
This
if they
is-
were.
No, that's what's gonna. I think that's what's helping in regulation right there. Is shit like that because. But the problem is like now what the market makers can use the weekends is like their disposal. We didn't hit the fucking lows till that Saturday or Sunday on the weekend after the S&P hit the lows, and they worked the order books down. They walked it down like a fucking hot knife in butter down to that 17.6. I watched it. I was on a walk with my family. I fucking longed and closed at like 18.5 on the bounce. Like, who the fuck is holding a 17.6 bounce that goes up to 20K in less than an hour? I mean, fucking A, dude.
It's actually, I mean, it's insane. I think they use the weekends to kind of like, since the correlation's not there, it's like they could like replace Bitcoin where they want it before like correlating again.
Yes.
On like Monday or whatever.
It's a part. I think it's part absorption. So like you said this on stream, but I think they'll pump it when they like know there might be some downside in the general markets. They'll pump it so where when there is the downside in the markets, look right there. We're looking at the fucking weekly, fam. I see a fucking red on the S&P, an index full of companies, the top 500 companies, and you can actually take them to creditors when they go bankrupt. Bitcoin, you cannot do that, and fucking Bitcoin's green. Right. Like Bitcoin's green. Like there's something to say about that shit. Like it's just crazy.
I think my theory is like some of these players, there's just genuinely they've like run out of liquidity. Like they need to move somewhere else, and like it's just become a way to hedge their US dollars, right?
Yeah.
Like they can't slap around like Apple all day. Like they'll get noticed. They can't. What you were saying, like they'll get in trouble basically if you're pushing the market too much. But like in crypto, I think they're just gonna do it as long as they can. Like I think this will happen as long as it possibly can until there's like something gets found out or they consider it manipulation. Like I don't know if they consider it that, but I mean, most governments don't have a policy for it.
Yeah,
it's nuts though.
Yeah, to be honest, with this close, it makes me now lean more towards the downside. The fact that we didn't save that monthly quarterly, at least for a wick down.
Yeah, why so poopy, dude?
Dude, I thought they did this though. They did this last quarter where we kind of, or not the last quarter. Oh yeah, the last quarter where we followed the S&P. So the S&P like held that 6-month level, and now like we've watched the S&P dump all day, the last 2 months basically with no wicks in the bottom of the monthlies. and we've had these huge dumps, and now Bitcoin's just following it. Like it's just, I think like it's just pumping it up and kind of faking us out at this point, because I really expecting them to break that level. If we can't break over that like 21K soon, no doubt we're gonna see at least 17K tested again. My guess.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
I mean, look at,
It's like
so if
so
you
like
look at
so many
chart,
different.
just look at the monthly and the 3 month levels. I mean, kind of big levels.
Yeah,
Like
let me.
I don't know. Like lose 19.7 like that. It's just kind of, everything looks so ugly, dude. 3 day, 3 day looks like shit. 3 days, I think, a little bit. But yeah,
Yeah, it's
three
so
days
weird.
okay. 3 days okay. That's right. 3 days okay. It's just
I
still not gonna build off that three
don't know
day.
about
Like,
you.
go ahead.
Like like these sometimes I feel like front running the prior low is like kind of something that's been happening in the last year before like a return up.
Yeah.
So like, dude, like I don't know. It's so we're in such a like I want to say shitty. We're in a very confusing spot. It's like not clear. Like for me, it's not clear we're bearish or bullish. You know,
Mm-hmm.
but
I agree.
it needs to
I
go
agree.
to like 22K or 21K, or it needs to go down to 17.5 for me to get like some idea. This was a weird spot for me.
I mean, this is. I think the close today says it all. The fact that the monthly looks like that, that the quarterly looks something like that. The quarterly does not look good. It looks very similar to that because you just add those other two candles to it, basically, which is just like they counteract each other, green and red. So the 3 month looks like that candle right there, like the monthly, and we're closing below that level there. Look at the volume too. Interesting there on the monthly volume. And I know that's not like, I'm not a big volume guy, but the
That's a
fact that
lot,
we are
actually.
expanding, yeah, exactly. We have this expansion on volume with a bearish candle, not the best. It seems like they're just held the price here to sell more because that's how bearish it was at this point. Because
Yeah.
my narrative until this close that we're seeing here in what is it, a minute. We're seeing the fucking monthly close here in a minute. I'm gonna try to read the volatility indicator. That's the best thing about the volatility indicator. It gives you cheats. Like it's like a fucking time machine. But either way, when we get this change in close here, I expected them to hold that monthly and 3 month as like a scam pump, but they clearly didn't do it. They had the opportunity after this. Although the volatility,
How often do you
had,
how often do you use that BA historical volatility?
yeah, everything. It's like my whole system is just time frames, really, general knowledge of price action. I'm, I've, like you said, I've been looking at the charts every day way too long. You can only probably be a trader for like 5-10 years. I was thinking about this the other day. I was like, there's no way I could do this my whole life. But
I mean, how
five,
many old traders are there? Like in their 50s and 60s? There's like very few, I think.
they're like monks though. Like my mentor that was like the 50-year-old that was got heart problems. They're just genetic. They're not like due to his lifestyle at all. But he's just like a monk, dude. He's really relaxed, chill, take a long, sell it, sell some. I don't know. More of a swing trader, not day to day, but like you said, it doesn't. It's not a long term. It's not a long term gig. It's fast money, and in markets like this, you're only gonna get a few markets like this in your lifetime. 3, 4, maybe. Where you see huge dips, huge buying opportunities, just buy and hold at the bottom. We get there and ride it out. But I use the BA historical volatility all the time.
Yeah,
The
why can't I find that? I was trying to search it. BA.
BA underscore historical, all one.
Oh,
There you go.
what my
Bollyport.
favorite?
Bollyport,
Oh,
yeah.
there's a favorite.
Yeah, Bollyport. Yeah, add that. It's a good one. And I'll give you the settings for that I use too. I use the basically the 9 single moving average, or so the 9 length, 81 volume, annual volume, and then the 21 MA length. But that's
9, and what was the volume?
98121.
Oh, nice. Yeah, I didn't see anything till then.
981.20. Yeah. So add that. And anyway, so when you get this compression, so the 2-day has compression. So what this 2-day tells me kind of is like, all right, this is a dead candle. That's what I call it, like as a nickname, like it's a dead candle. So really, it means that like this is not a strong bearish candle up here at the top. It could be a pivot in time. Like these are pivots. You see this pivot right here? So this is a. I'm not sure if you're watching my stream, but I brought it up. But this kind of like red candle here before the CPI pump. Then we came back down. This last data CPI pump. I think this is the rate hike pump. Yeah, that was the rate hike. No. Either way. Whatever fake pump that was, it had this fake pump up, and the volatility showed it was really low on the red one. So when it's like low volatility on the red one, it's like bullish. When it's low volatility on the blue one, it's bearish in a kind of a general sense. But you know, you look at the weekly's trying to expand up. If we could get, I guess if the weekly could close over the previous weekly open, I guess that's the level we're trying to fight right now. Look at it. That's the level we're at right now. But obviously 2 days left in the weekly.
I saw you draw that level, like right where we're at, right?
Yeah.
Interesting.
So and then the monthly is compressing down still. Weekly. Okay, so the weekly is expanding up. All right, I'm trying to figure out like the move. Sometimes this gives cheats. The 3-month doesn't show volatility, see, because it's historical volatility. I think it uses it like over like a year or two. The code. I need somebody to recode that thing because the guy that like made it is not.
You say it wasn't like friendly? Like,
yeah, he's not friendly, dude. I was showing my chat like fucking the messages in the DM. He's just like called me scumbag and all this shit. I was like, dude, I was actually have mad respect for you. It was just like this whole. It was bad.
I wonder if he's Salami from our chat.
He's.
I don't know if you've met him.
Yeah, I've seen Salami in chat, dude. He's. I don't know.
He won. He won. How much did he win? We did marbles today. He won $50 today.
Wow.
Because he won like 4 games, and then somebody else like gave him their win. It was kind of ridiculous. He shows up every week, so he wins to win marbles. He's never won, and he won like 4 times today.
Wow.
Yeah.
All right, so look at this 3-month. Like if you're not using any indicator alone, you know, not RSI, none of that stuff. You know, you're not gonna be able to say bullish divergence, not CVD, none of that stuff. And you look at this one candle right here on the 3-month, like that 3-month we just closed is not bullish. Now, if you draw a line and you just make this as basic as possible, it's a top wick that we saw in 2017 to now, right? That candle has now officially closed below that. After we held it barely there on the last day of June, very similar to that close we saw. We talked about like 3 or 4 monthly closes this year. They fucking pumped it or dumped it in the last hour. We actually identified that earlier on stream with you. But either way, that 3-month cannot tell me that's a fucking bottom, dude. The only fact is there's a higher low, right? Like the wick down. That's it. I just look at that.
Man, dude.
The monthly too is the same way. The monthly's closing below a really fucking key level, dude. Look at the monthly.
Could you go back to the 3? Go back to the 3.
Yeah, I'll go back to.
When does the 3? Wait, did the 3 just close?
Just closed. It just closed. We're on Q4
okay, so like,
now.
Dude,
we're on Q4.
Like no wonder.
Now we have to be going down
for
to
my
14K,
case,
right?
no, well, my case, I'm just looking at. I'm like, no wonder I haven't like really made any money in the last 3 months. Like it's like nothing compared to the rest of the last 2 years. This little candle for 3 months.
Yeah, I think the last time we saw anything close to that was January this year, which was pretty choppy. But even these candles have more range than that. But the fact that they held that really well. Look at the 3-month of Bitcoin compared to the S&P Bitcoin, and just S&P. This is crazy too. Look at the 3-month S&P. It's a fucking inverse hammer, halfway down to hell.
Yeah, that was a sick close. That was a really sick close today.
They didn't even leave a wick down there, dude. It's like, right? Like,
yeah, that's scary.
It's crazy. That's the wick? Are we kidding me? Yeah, I mean, try to keep that in perspective. Like, if you know nothing about TA fam, 2 months in a row, we made the lows of those monthlies for 2 months on the last day. Look at it. Here's one. Here's two. On the last day of the last 2 months, because now we're in October. Congrats. Happy October, everybody. We have not held the low at all. At all. Like, those
I didn't
are.
even realize it was that bad. That looks horrible.
This looks so bad, dude. I mean,
well, it's like I mean, it's not the prior month looks slightly better because it's higher, but it was like almost. I mean, the prior month looks the same but shorter. I guess I'm trying to say. So like, look how the prior month turned into this month.
Yeah.
And it's just like worse. So like, what's next? Like worse? Like even worse? So it's becoming extended. Like, isn't it like 30% off the top already? Probably.
Yeah.
I don't know how far down we are.
So interesting. I just saw this guy. Yeah, it's where's this here? They literally rested on top of that wick? No. We dumped a little more. Pretty close. I guess that would be the next realistic level, right? 3507. Guess bounce there. This is the monthly. Fuck, dude.
Wait, so we're down to, or we're 25% down. That's quite a bit.
Yeah, and Bitcoin's 6570. Three red soldiers, someone said.
I mean, there's kind of like this trend line. I don't even remember drawing this, but
See under.
There's like this. It's like, I don't know what you call it. I forget what you call it.
Oh, what do they call it?
You'll
like
know.
a something wedge. It's not a
yeah, a wedge.
Called like expanding wedge. I forget what it's called. Yeah. It also
like,
has some.
I mean,
it has some Elliott wave to it too. I don't know Elliott wave at all, but I know that's like an Elliott wave count too. The expanding wedge like that. If that really
someone in
works
chat
out.
called it Biden's America, hoorah! It's like, we draw like Joe Biden here.
Jeez, I mean,
His slick back hair. He's like falling asleep, and then he's like, his arms coming up, and he's just pressing it all down. He's taking a nap. He took a nap right at the top there.
So an interesting note I heard from like one of my guys, pretty close to New York City, and I know some people down there in Wall Street that I've heard that if you take out the COVID crash, you take out the money printer after, like that's the bottom. Supposedly that would be like
where's the bottom if you take out the crash?
The COVID crash, and then you take out the money printer after. So basically, like the top of the COVID crash, that's kind of like the bottom. The top before the COVID crash. That's what people talk about. I'm sure like that's not like the exact level, but somewhere in that area. Supposed.
Because this is like they consider an anomaly.
Well, yeah, so I'm saying you take out the black swan, right? And then you also take out like the money printer they turned on for everyone's unemployment right there. And then if you just kept it up going normal money printer without the COVID crash money printer, like it would have that's kind of like the line we wrote up. So like I think that's just kind of a correction for the COVID printer and time and obviously, like you said, inflation and the war in Ukraine definitely didn't help. That came out of nowhere, huh? Fucking A, man.
Like January. I've never heard anyone talk about that. That it's like what we were saying is like having chart time of like those when you came over to Trader Samwise Teal Street stream, it was like they saved the monthly, right?
Yeah.
And it's like we consider it like an anomaly. I've never heard somebody talk about it I didn't know like Wall Street traders considered like COVID crash an anomaly and they kind of ignore it like it was abnormal. Like
Yeah, on the charts. So this is like a guy that's like literally like spent his whole life on Wall Street too. Like he's probably 60s, got some kids in high school, lives across the street from me. But yeah, like COVID sent him home and he never had to really go back as like a Wall Street guy. You know, because he's at that point you're like higher up on Wall Street, but he was talking about how like bad it was, and this was God, he was talking about this, I guess the beginning of summer, spring. So he was talking about how bad it is. I guess we were on our first going down on our first dip, but he was just saying how like yeah, they think it's like you know, back like I guess he called it a reset, but maybe not a reset. But it made a lot of sense to me when he told me. He's like, yeah, you know, you take out the COVID crash and you take out the money printer. He basically used his hands too. He's like, take out the money printer after the COVID crash. I reset that, you know, and then you take out the COVID crash. That's the bottom. I'm like, okay, so probably a little bit further down than where we first crashed, like first started crashing from the top. My guess. You like that replay,
This
don't
tool
you?
is so cool,
Oh,
dude.
it's
The first
so
time I
cool.
used it.
And you can slow it down too, which is really interesting because I think it's important to see like how they play with people. They're like, oh, we're pumping, we're pumping, we're pumping. Oh, new lows. Look, watch this. I love this. New lows. You know, ouch, right? Like, imagine this is the fucking daily, dude. You're just sitting there on the S&P. You're like, this is it. The bottom's it. And then fucking just get crushed, dude. This COVID crash. So man, I was bearish on Bitcoin at 10K before that COVID crash, and for whatever reason, the charts were bearish, and I was kind of paying attention to the COVID news. I didn't think it would cause that big of a fucking crash in the markets, but man, when that shit crashed like overnight, it crashed from like 9K to 5K in one day. I was I was like telling people like, I told you, man, like this fucking shit happens right before the halvening, and then right, I mean, imagine the buying opportunity of a lifetime. You get that COVID crash down to 3K, even if you bought at 6K, no one's fucking checking, and then you go on the ultimate bull run to 64K. And the 69K is supposedly a deviation. That's how I see it. So 69K was really not supposed to go to 69K. It was supposed to actually be a macro lower high. They're able to control it to, you know, kind of spoof it up to 69K and make that little higher high. But it was huge bearish divergence, as you can just see on like normal indicators. And uh like it was just fuck, man, it happened so quickly. It's like I feel like yesterday I was enjoying that pump up and definitely didn't make enough money. I feel like it's easier to make money in bear markets only because the emotions. There's so many more people that want an up market and they don't understand how to short. I don't know why, but in a bear market, just so much easier to make money. Take advantage of people's emotions. Like imagine this time next year, right? We're like pumping. We're at 30. We're at 40K frag, and you're and everyone's like turning bullish, calling for fucking 70K, and you're like, dude, this is the easiest short in the world. You know what I'm saying? We're at 48K a year from now. We're at 48K, like it's the fucking bottom's in, blah blah blah, and then we just go right back down to fucking 17K. Just like we went from 14K down to 6K before the COVID crash. That I mean, I just feel like those are easier versus like an up only market. They make it so hard to fucking get entries in up only market. I mean, people maybe on the S&P it's easier, but Bitcoin, oh my god, they make it so hard. Every time I longed,
Just
I
gotta
was
like
just a
go for it.
yeah, you know
Like
what?
just keep going. Like
Yeah, no, for
balls
real,
out.
like you did, like the fucking the Russian dolls kind of thing. It seems like every time I longed, I mean, I remember us breaking new highs at the end of December, like Christmas Eve, Christmas time, we were around like 27K at that point. And I remember like every time I longed, I was scared to get liquidated, and all we were doing just like consolidating in this like two to 3K range. And I was like, just fuck, I had paper hands, man. I just didn't make enough money on the lot of up only market. I definitely got chopped up, but like on a spot position, I did fine. But I would have done better if I didn't trade at all. Like that's the absolute truth. If I didn't trade the whole way up in the bull market, just on a spot swing that I bought at 10K, I would have been juicy. Definitely lost a little spot. But that's how you learn how to trade. You gotta spend money to make money, you know?
Right. I'm mad. I mean, not mad, but like I did miss. I think the largest percent gains in the last, I don't know, ever maybe. I think like 2021 didn't actually have the huge gains like until right at the end of the right at the beginning of, yeah, like when was
2021.
this? Because I
It
didn't
was
even trade this.
it was
Yeah,
basically like
2020.
2021. We went to 30. The January, the Q1 of 2021, we went to that 30K consolidation right there, the descending triangle, and then we popped off the yearly open up to 64K. So
I
it
mean,
basically
what I'm
started
trying to say is
September.
like I missed. Yeah, I missed all that. I've never seen that before. I've never, for Bitcoin. I've seen some altcoins and stuff, but like, I mean, I don't know if anybody held, how many people held spot from like 10K or something, but like you might have. I think you might have said you did do that, but like I do feel a bit of like jealousy for like, see, I had like a 62%, or even like I had a chance for
Yeah,
a
that
chance for like
was
100%.
I
But dude,
blew
back
that.
here, you go back in the day, they're just huge percents, huge.
Yeah. No, I think we're gonna see that. I think we're gonna see the one some of the possibly some of the best two swings in the next 5 years that you could probably see the upside and downside, um, both ways. So if you take both ways, I mean, we're talking about four swings, maybe three, four swings, huge 50, 60% swings, 100% swings. Is in the market. If you don't think we could double up on Bitcoin here in maybe a year or two, then you're fucking insane. Like it's gonna double up every time. And I've been here since 2017. I bought the top of Bitcoin Cash at $3,400 when it went on Coinbase IPO. I could tell you straight up, fam. The price, the price when it goes low, it always goes back up. When it always goes up, it always comes back down. Fucking law of gravity, law of physics. Um, it's just a matter of time. We'll go back up. Just rough conditions right now, but I don't think anyone in 5 years from now is going to be looking at you for buying 19K Bitcoin and call you a fucking moron and a horrible investor. There's no way in 5 years. Definitely going to be higher than now, just with inflation and a better economy and hopefully less shit going on around the world. But look at that increase in volume. Look at that on the weekly. Look at that tick up. Now, all the way over
Oh,
here where we're
here at
at.
the end.
That's kind of
Yeah.
interesting. That's
This
really
is
interesting.
Bitfinex also, which is, I mean, they have decent, consistent volume.
They used to be the market makers, and then what happened? They lost it all this last summer when they were bearish. They were fucking shorting like 34K last summer, a year ago, at 2021. I mean, fucking joke. They were like, I remember so many people were like Bitfinex is short, and I was like, I don't give a fuck. I'm buying longs at 30K last summer, 2021, June 21. But I don't know.
I didn't know this. Like 2018, I found a different chart. I'm not gonna take time to pull it up, but like 2018 actually had more USD volume than 2021 did, and we had such a larger, like higher price for Bitcoin. It was something like the peak in a volume was like, uh, I think it was like five. On one exchange, it was like 5 billion in 2018 or something, or 2017. No, I think it was 2017 or 2018, and then it was like 3 billion in 2021, which was like kind of interesting to think about. That like it's like, so if 2018 had bigger market acceptance and more volume, and then died and came back with less volume and went higher,
Yeah.
like what is that? Like
Well, think about the fundamentals of
institutions? Is it
Bitcoin.
just more
I think
like, yeah?
I don't know. I just think about the fundamentals of Bitcoin. Like because there's only a finite amount, right? Like if there's more volume then, and more people are like buying and holding than less people then moving exchanges and selling, right? Like so over time, less volume is going to move this asset to higher prices, right? Because there's less volume, essentially, more holders, right? Like more is being stored. There's less available coming to the market, and so I think volume is kind of a crazy variable when it comes to Bitcoin, just in that aspect. I mean, most of our volume is between 3 and 6K, our area that we're actually looking for as the bottom. Most of the volume for Bitcoin is bought between 3 and 6K, I believe. Like on the VPVR at least, in that aspect. But It's crazy. I mean, like, look at that. Like you said, the less volume moves the price even higher. But at the same time, like exchange trade volume, right? What is
But this is dollars too, like in dollars, which is
but
not
like
Bitcoin. I mean, I think
yeah,
there's a Bitcoin chart somewhere.
yeah. Have you
But
ever
like,
looked at
what the?
have you ever looked at the exchange reserve like on what is it, Levitas?
No, do you have a link or do you have it?
Oh yeah, here I'll give you you ever used Levitas?
No.
Oh, it's gonna ask me to just ask me to log in. I don't even clear my cookies that often. That much porn. Come on.
Dude, like what's the site for open interest? Coinwise is the worst about logging you out. It logs you out every day. The
Crypto
open
quant?
interest one.
Crypto quant?
Coinwise.
A Coinalize? Right.
Oh.
Oh, there we go. Okay, perfect. All right, so again, yeah. So I think it was crypto quant actually.
I think we talked to Leviathan actually. Like I think we're gonna use them to pull like the percent 24-hour percent change and some other information on their site. We just never got around to implementing.
They're like dope for information like options and shit. Kinda. All right, good. All right, so Levitas, right, and then other one. If they log me out, okay. So this is
Do you have what's in the corner of your room to your left? The light.
the pulsing light. Yeah, it's just
Yeah.
some LED shit.
The LED strips.
Yeah, it's no, it's a literally a corner LED light. I think it was like $40 on Amazon, but like it just I have LED strips everywhere down here. So I got the new logo up there, but I have LED
That's
strips
sick.
behind the desk. Dude, that was $150 custom made. $150
Damn.
sent to me
LEDs
from
though?
that LED, dude. I'm telling.
Yeah.
I was actually thinking about like it's like, no, it's neon. It's neon. Excuse me. Sorry,
Oh.
but I was actually thinking about like talking to you guys about getting the fucking logo, because like it's dirt cheap. You guys should totally have a fucking logo on neon. They took my logo and just put it up there. And that was the smallest one they could make me, and it was $150. The
Huh.
bigger version, which I didn't even want, the fact that this fits perfectly up there, was like $400. But check out this exchange reserve right here. This is kind of a so this shows you the price with the amount of Bitcoin on exchange, right? So the price is the exchange reserve from 3 million Bitcoin back in 2019 down to 2.3 million. So we're up here at 3 million, 2.3 million. The exchange reserve, the amount on exchanges has gone down, while the price kind of like it's gone up, but then it's now going down. Like it's just kind of weird, right? Like you see how it's kind of now going up again. I don't know. There's some
This
weird
is
data.
like users, right? Not the exchange itself. Like
It might be users. Yeah, I gotta look.
what's it say at the bottom
The
there?
total number of coins held in the exchange. Yeah.
Okay, so
So
it's everybody.
it's everybody. It's with as the value. So it says, and then it gives you little tips like as the values continue to rise in reserve, it indicates higher selling pressure, and it's showing an opposite trend in price in general. So yeah, so it's exactly what I was like arguing. Like, why is it opposite trend? But it says that that's
Huh.
what it does. For
Where
stable
is it
coin
going though?
for stable coin, value rise indicates buying pressure. For derivative exchange, since coins could be used to open both long and short, a rise in reserve values indicates possible high volatility. Oh, that's interesting.
A
Gives you all
rise Oh, okay. Yeah, I see
Yeah,
why.
yeah. So
Yeah,
like
people selling maybe.
so right here you're seeing like a rise in exchange reserve for stablecoin value rise indicates buying pressure.
Well,
So this is
let's
US dollar.
look at points
So here's US
to
dollar.
go.
The US dollar is very similar. How much US
Look-
dollars on exchange versus Bitcoin? That what you want me to do?
Okay, wait a sec. Which color is is the exchange reserve? Go back to the exchange reserve one, the
Oh
last one.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
I've never
Purple,
seen this
purple,
before.
purple is exchange reserve.
And this is
Yes,
Bitcoins, right?
yes, yeah.
Okay, so
And then the
yeah,
white
like
is
what happens
price.
when it dumps? Like, so we have a big
We
dump.
start dumping,
Uh,
but like look at this right here. Look where the dump happened, and this is interesting, right? Like this is the exchange reserve. Then when the exchange reserve started went down, this is where the manipulation happened. Why I became so fucking bearish. Like manipulation, I feel like this is where the manipulation happened. We just kept pumping, and normally, right? Like here we start dumping, and then look at this cross right here. Like crossed, price went up. We kept dumping. Then we went in. I think people are leveraging at this point. Leverage longs, leverage longs, leverage longs, leverage longs. Here's the flush. Yeah, that makes sense. Here's the flush of longs, right? Because like people are putting their Bitcoin on reserve to leverage it, right? Like that's what this kind of means to me. And then they're taking their reserve off, or they're losing it to the exchanges on a dump,
yeah,
and then you get to the top here, and the kind of same thing happens. Look at this right here. More leverage longs coming
wild.
in sideways, exchange reserve, and then now we've just been dumping since basically the beginning of the year. Uh, so either there's more selling or there's more people in wallets. This is just exchange reserve. People have to understand like the bigger picture of like what we're talking about, because it doesn't mean like wallet reserve. It doesn't mean so many different things. Exchange depositing addresses. This is kind of cool, but drawing addresses. You ever look at this crypto quant? Oh man, there's so
No,
I don't even
never. I'm like fascinated.
I'm not I don't even dabble enough with this shit. Like look at all these metrics. I don't even pay for the premium too. I'm actually gonna start paying for it because exchange whale ratio, the ratio of the top 10 inflows to the total inflows of the exchange. High values indicates whales are using the exchange in large amounts. Weird metric.
Kimba is really big on this stuff.
Oh
It's like
yeah,
his
Kim. Yeah,
main influence, or his main indicator is this stuff.
yeah. He's trying to hunt down the whale objective.
Yeah, he's like Jonas. He's trying to escape the whale. I think Jonas got eaten by the whale. I don't know. I was raised Catholic, which means I'm not religious anymore.
All right, so here's miners position index. This is the ratio of total miner outflow US dollars to its 1 year moving average of total miner outflow. Higher value shows the miners are sending more coins than usual, which indicates possible selling. But look at this. Look at this influx here. Miners
Sold, dude.
right here, right? And then they
Selling
just
that.
waited,
What price was that? 20K?
This was 28K.
The big purple line.
This one right here,
They're
right?
selling like 25K.
Yeah,
Oh, 28K. Damn.
28K, right? So this was after we broke highs. The miners moved all their fucking Bitcoin to exchanges.
Kind
And
of a
then they
weird
just waited.
coincidence, right? That's 28K, because it's just like that's like probably the most important price of the last 2 years, I guess, in my opinion.
Yeah. Well, it being a
Oh,
2021
weird.
yearly open and everything, right? Like, so they basically in 2021, they basically moved all their shit to the exchanges. They just waited it out, and then they sold up here because this is the influx, right? This is the outflow. If miners send some proportion of reserve at the same time, it could trigger a price drop. There's all kinds of variables you can look at. Like, I mean, and then Levatus is the options one. I like this because it's important to see their bit. The king, man. I missed their bit. I'm so pissed it went KYC. My original home.
Got to use it. I was on the Ponzi Delta exchange until they scam me. basically.
Oh yeah, dude, I made a lot of influencers drop them sponsors because I was like, dude,
Oh, you were actually the biggest like help. I think the biggest, like the influencer who helped the most as far as getting reach for my case. But fuck them.
did they even help at all or any of that shit or no?
Yeah, I mean, I'll tell you exactly. I had my options were worth. So they, if anybody who doesn't know, this is Delta Exchange. Don't use them. They went offline because their market maker got liquidated or something during the Luna crash. But I bought options before that, and I probably spent like 10 or 15K on options. I've been kind of like stacking them, right? Puts. And their market maker gets liquidated and its Bitcoin starts crashing. So like the options were at one point like in 150K P&L, and I couldn't realize it because the exchange was offline for like 14 hours. So I couldn't take profit on my options. And it's not even like it was like a second, it was like for hours.
Yeah.
I could have realized profit, and they went back online and they like reversed all trades. And they went online too after the market bounced and they were out of the money. Like I had like 50 Bitcoin of puts and all these other coins and shit. So when I went and argued with them, all they gave me was 15K.
Wow. Well, it's
Yeah.
interesting that they even gave you some money. So basically, as I understand it, is you opened option contracts, they went offline, and then when they came back online, they pretended like you never opened those contracts. Am I right?
Well, well, what they said was, for okay, they did that for I since I bought mine before they rolled back everyone. Like there
Yes.
was a certain point where they said we're rolling back up to this point, rolling
Yes.
back all the trades.
Yeah.
But I was after that. But what they told me was, well, we don't have proof that you could have realized you would have realized your profit, right? And then basically they did some fucky math, and I had to fix their math, and they said, well, this is what they were worth when the exchange came online, and it was 15K. And I wasn't even like the worst, probably the worst. I probably got the best outcome. I was in that telegram, everybody was getting fucked.
Yeah.
They told people that Luna was a market outlier and they would not honor people who shorted Luna fair game, like
And
before the
was that
crash.
one of your puts?
No, it wasn't. I didn't have any puts on Luna. I'm just talking
Oh
about some other
wow. Well, yeah,
people.
yeah, no, but I mean, I
They
wanted,
said
yeah, yeah, because it made
they said
people
it
made a
wasn't like
gang off
market
those puts.
manipulation.
Yeah, people made a gang off
Yeah.
those puts on like Binance and shit. It makes, yeah.
Yeah, dude, I'm sure a lot of people made a lot of money, but a lot of people want to see the money too.
Wow, that's crazy. Dude, one time I was on Dare, but this is before they KYC, and they KYC November 2020 before the bull run. It was like a nightmare, dude. As a just person that bought options, it was nice. Traded on there, they had good liquidity. But what I was on Deribit one time to where I just had like stink bids on the way up in the bull run of 2020, and they were at around 9K. And overnight, I went to bed, and they had like some horrible wick that went down to like 7,100, I believe, overnight, and they filled bids. That's how legit Deribit was. I mean, it still
Yeah.
is. It probably still is. They're a pretty legit exchange. It's just unfortunate that we have certain things and ordinances going on to where you can't use Deribit, but you can use them for options. But regardless, like I feel like you're not taking care of your customers nowadays. I was just looking up the other day the top like 30 crypto exchanges. I didn't even realize there's so many that exist. There's like 50. Um, and if you're not happy somewhere, you just move on, move your money somewhere else. Like fuck them. They're making so much money off you, off trading fees and all that other shit. It's hard to support the big man, and you're like you said, you're just taking your 10% of money of like a total stack. You have a total stack to trade with. You're taking your money. You use your money on a daily basis to enter your office. It's like fucking going to work, right? Like go to office, put your money in, enter the office. Hopefully you can make that money that you put into the office on that day and get out. That's what the market is. The market's the office. Like, get in the market, you get out. You make your money and get out. Like you don't have to win 2 trades a day, 3 trades a day. You got to win 1 trade a day. And to put this in perspective, and I try to tell people this, like, try to like minimize your thinking. You're not trying to make it in one trade. You're trying to make this like over the long term. And if you made, for example, $1,000 a day, and I know that sounds like a lot of money maybe to some people, but it probably is a lot of money to most people. But $1,000 a day as a trader, that's it. You're already doing. You're up in like almost to the 1% of the world. I mean, think about that.
Yeah.
Like, and for crypto, you can trade it 24/7, mark on the weekends and all that stuff. And you need to just work your way up to size, work your way up to a comfortable size and leverage, and take advantage of the market. I mean, I'm happy when I make that $1,000. That's my goal every day. Is make $1,000. Make $1,000. I'm doing fucking good. I'm making 3 times my wife's 6-figure fucking corporate salary. You know, $1,000. Crazy. So
Yeah, I'm so bad at setting targets. I'm just not good at setting targets. I'll say like, do like that 10% rule or whatever is like a testament. I could promise you that I have a lower than 50% win rate.
oh yeah.
But I've kept money because some of the big wins I just took out, you know, but I guarantee my win rate's like 40% or something. And it's just like some people are big on that, they have a big win rate and stuff, but like I don't know. I cut a lot. Like I cut a lot of trades, especially recently. Like you can probably even see on my TEALSTREET like equity chart all of the losses. Like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 trades cut underwater today.
Yeah.
4 wins, but I'm up like 800. Right?
Yeah.
You see all the red losses, 4 wins, but it's like I just cut a lot. I don't know. Like
No, I think it's important to cut the losses early. I mean, you made that as like one of my rules. What is it? I would take profits fast and lose and losses faster. Like that. That's a really good saying. In both ends.
I'm trying to almost like hold things longer now. I don't know. It's like hard to get entries in this last few months. And a lot of them like you kind of get out easy because of the range. So like I'll cut shit like after like a 0.5% or a 1% move or something, and then like that's the point. It just kind of like reverses because we're barely moving anywhere.
Yeah,
that's the tough part right now. I'm trying to hold things a little longer.
Yeah, I held it a little bit long today. I went to pick my kids up from preschool right before we had our stream earlier, and I saw like fucking 20.2, and it was just like I think I saw at the same time your tweet, which was like, Savage was right. We're fucking gonna save the monthly. Dude, like, and I was like, dude, I thought
we were gonna,
me
dude.
too, bro. And like,
looked like it.
And then I was like, okay, so we're gonna absorb. And I was like, all right, we're gonna and I kept looking at the S&P because, like you said, you can't fucking not pay attention to that fucking S&P party pooper over there. And so I'm paying the S&P too, and I'm like, the S&P's still dumb, but what the fuck, man? And I'm like, oh, dude, don't do this. And I was like, oh, it's okay, we're making room to absorb. So then we get down to 20.6, and I was like, okay, this is the level. Like, we just flipped it, 20.6. We're gonna sit here and play bearish, and then we're gonna pump into close, and then we lose that like an hour before or 2 hours before close. I'm like, God fucking damn it, dude, you motherfuckers. I'm like, now we're gonna just dump hard, aren't we? We're gonna just like. We'll lose 18K overnight or some shit. And that's what scares me. Like, you look at those monthlies and 3-month levels we just lost. It's kind of scary for Bitcoin. Like, are they just absorbing here? Are they just, like what we talked about earlier, are they just killing time? Like, they want to kill time, walk this as much sideways as possible. You know, doesn't do anyone a favor for just dropping the price down to that fucking buy price that everyone wants to buy at. You know, it doesn't do anyone a favor.
I wouldn't even be surprised if it, like, we do break the top or the bottom here, and it's just a stop hunt. Because like what we were saying earlier, like this area, this is just full of you and me and people in chat and people all over the place with stops and liquidations and just like this fuel to just take all this volume and all the open interest and just like use it as fuel for like a big move.
Yep.
You know? I wouldn't be surprised if they just make money both ways. Because that's like the man, there's a good video. I'll send it to you. You've probably seen it, but it talks about like it's a old school trader, and he's like, it's stop, like they're interviewing him. They're like, does stop hunting really happen? He's like, well, yeah, it's like you can obviously see here there's probably stops crowded around this level, and there's not enough size on the market. Like you and me and everyone in chat and everyone on crypto Twitter don't make up enough of the uh, trades to fill for these guys. So like they have to engineer it. They're engineering liquidity. And I wouldn't be surprised like if they're making this range and this is a liquidity trap right here.
Yep.
And there's a big move out or a big move down out. It's like
Yep. Down up or up down. Like it's just
if you go on the dailies too, I mean, I say this like more often now than back then, but like look at how many times it's happened. You have this one,
yep.
you have this, like just people trapped.
You see that
Just
daily hanging
trapping.
man
Look
there
at
at
that stop
30K?
hunt.
That was such a great short. You see that daily man hanging that get rid of all the drawings and go right there at the 30K level right before we dump. There's a hanging man daily. Right before we dumped at 30.
Was this the Luna? The Luna stuff?
Yeah,
I
that
can't
was
remember.
Luna. And then go over to the right before we dump down to 20. Far right.
Oh, over here.
The hanging man, the red candle up there, right there. So that candle right there,
Yeah.
we walked it back last 2 hours of the close right there on that day, and that's just a typical hanging man. What they do is they buy it up and they kind of create a little, they dump it. Oh my god, that was one of my here.
And you remember your trades much better than me. I forget all my trades.
It's
Like I remember the price action, I remember the chart, but I'm just so constantly like flopping all over the place.
It's to
Ooh.
be honest, it's like a gift and a sin. I tell people all the time, like I grew up not like in the healthiest household. I wasn't, didn't have like horrible things happen to me, luckily, but I didn't, grow up in a perfect mom and pop situation and all that. And when you watch your like mom and dad fight at like 4 and 6 years old, and you have a really good memory, unfortunately you only remember the bad things as a kid. So it's like, it's a good thing and a bad thing. Like it's a gift. Like I remember, I remembered my studies, I got my degree and all that stuff. It's just, I remember price action very well. I remember like traveling very well, but at the same time you remember the bad things too. But yeah, right there you see that how you just kind of pump. Look at the compression too on the volatility down there.
Look at this hourly too.
Is it crazy?
It's like that's nuts. What is this? 4% almost, 3.5%.
Yeah, that was the lead down too. Like okay. But look at the compression right there, the volatility below before that pump. Go to the left a little more. Yeah, the volume gets really low and it shows you the compression, the volatility.
Oh.
You see that? That's right before the big move.
That goes crazy.
And so it creates these moves. Once you get that compression, you know big moves coming. So I tell people with the volatility, because I've been studying it for years, like it's an extremely hard indicator to use. But I tell people, I like identify a move coming. So it's like, a tidal wave's coming. You don't know where the tidal wave's going to hit. You don't know which direction the tidal wave is going, but tidal wave is coming. And then identify where the tidal wave is going. Like, so like you see like the compression right there, that really, there's no candle right there after all that color right in the middle of that, right? Yeah, right, a little more to the right there. See that last candle? You see how it's red? To go to that like red candle, that's the very, no, you had it right, a little more to the left, one more right.
This one.
Candle. Well, no, a little more over. No, I'm talking about the actual red doji, not on the volatility.
Oh,
but like it's flat on, but it's flat on the doji. It's flat on the doji. I'm sorry, it's flat on the volatility, and it's
okay. I'm looking.
Yeah, right there. Exactly.
I'm now looking at your screen.
You see how? Yeah, you see the
chat's loving this.
Yeah, see how there's compression into that red flat candle right there, and then you get over one more candle. Yes,
on the bottom,
yes,
right?
yes. So when you see that compression right there in the volatility, and it's red, that's a red. I call them dead candles. That's a red dead candle. Not only are you at a low at support right there, but you have this compression that usually means a pump. Now, if that candle was the opposite, right? We're at the top of a range, a little consolidation. We're at the top of a consolidation. It was green, it was flat, and it was no volatility. That would dump. So people like try to use this indicator and it's like fucking like, oh man, like I thought this. Now go to the right more. Now let's watch the next compression happen. Go to the right more. Right
Yeah.
there, right there, right there, right
I
there,
see what you
right
mean
there.
now.
Yes,
Compression.
yes. You see the compression right there, the volatility. So you see the compression. Now here's the next move. Okay, right. We just moved from there. We're coming to this little. That was a pennant. It looks like we're about to break out of a pennant right there, probably on that 1 hour. And then we break out that pennant. And here comes the next move, all the way down to the next compression. Now go to the next compression. This is where it gets interesting. Right before the dump. All these little things tell you a big move's coming. You're not going to be able to read where this move goes. I tell people this time, like when they look at this indicator, I'm like, I'll give you the indicator, I'll give you the fucking settings. It doesn't matter. You gotta study this shit like you would study an EMA or an MA or any of that shit.
I'm gonna experiment 1 second. So like, let's just say like the what's like this case, like what's max pain or something, right? So like if you wanted to squeeze and engineer liquidity, I mean you got this everybody's short. I mean, you have shorts all the way here.
Yep.
Up to this point, all the way down.
Yep.
And then look at that. I mean, you've got the volatility moving up through the shorts.
Yep,
here.
there you can see them building that move right there on the bottom of the
here,
volatility.
Right?
Yep.
What's the pain here? I mean, it's whoever long this area.
Yep, exactly.
So
whoever
like,
long, you wiped all the stops. You exactly captured some longs. You fucking barred that
longs,
shit,
dude. We're in this compression and going into some longs. I mean, I don't know what happened here. Well, apparently this was a very low volume move.
But you see that right there. You see the lower, the higher low. They try to print a higher low, like, oh, it's still good, and then you kind of a bear flag structure, and then you dumped it, right? Like if you go back to previous consolidation, right? We built up all these shorts. You wipe the shorts with the BART, and then you come back and you kind of make a higher low, but then we end up dumping down to kind of the same bottom of range. You see that? Like it looks like it's building up until we make that second circle you drew. It looks like it's going to move up. And that one is like just straight. It's just distribution.
Just like doesn't really.
They're trying to
longs
distribute
should have got. I mean, longs would have got fucked here, but it went up anyway.
They're just trying to distribute it. You see all these little distributions. Now they got in a range where they can really control it and accumulate and distribute.
This is actually sick in a range. This tool, actually, maybe it's more like.
Oh, it's really good.
If it's at the top, it's going to go down. If it's at the bottom, it's going to go up when it compresses or something.
And that's actually dead on. In fact, that works on, and because you know price action, I can kind of explain this to you, but like that works on lower time frame waves too. So if you're at the lower time frame wave on a support and you start seeing this dip down, but you see compression, right? You see like the candles like nothing. Like you see the current print right now. What is it, the 1 hour? You see the current print on the 1 hour right now? That means that's a dead candle. That means that candle is a pivot or dead, and we're either going to pump or we're just going to dump from there. So it's kind of a pivot, but you got to watch the next print. So that tells me that's a weak candle. It's supposed to look bad, but it's really not that bad. But again, it's necessarily just a pivot. It doesn't necessarily mean that that's the truth, because you got to watch the next print. The next print goes up, then you're like, all right, we're expanding, but which direction are we expanding? Works on the 5 minute too. Yeah, works on all time frames. I look on the 3 minutes sometimes, like if I can't read the 5 minute. It's as if we're holding hands, 2 mouses, 1 chart. Makes so much sense.
Oh, it looks like somebody else, I think, got fucked by Delta 0HS.
Oh my god, I'm sorry.
I get DMs to this day on Twitter about asking me, like, hey, I was on Delta. What happened with them or whatever?
Dude,
to this day I get DMs.
It worries me so much, like, because like I got this first time ever. I took a sponsor that just like sponsor my streams exchange. I was like, all right, whatever, I'll take the sponsor, and got the ref link and all that stuff. But they're like so fresh, and I'm like, dude, if you fucking rug pull my community, dude, I'll never take an exchange sponsorship again. That's like that's like my thoughts, It's like, ever fucking rug pull, you know what I'm saying? It's just, oh man.
There's so many now. There's Mexi. Dude, we get so many requests. We get Mexi, BitGet, BingX. FEMX was kind of a hot one, but kind of fizzled out a little bit. There's so many that pop up.
And some of these aren't even taking VPNs. Like MEXC, you don't even have to have a VPN to trade on them. Like that's kind of crazy to me. Like,
That is crazy.
yeah, they're just
They're like, dude, they skirt it as long as they can.
they're
Like
like in
I'm
the
just from
Philippines.
like dealing with these guys, you know, they as long as they can, they won't do KYC and they won't do um, VPNs, and you'll see this like you'll see it happen to I can't think of a good example. I think like Caps might have won KYC, might not have, but they'll pop up and they'll be the hot. So like Femex is the hot one that's not KYC. Then they'll get in trouble. And there'll be a new one that's not KYC. And there'll be another, just like Gate. Yeah, Zlov said Gate was one and they became KYC. It's like there's it's like a whole subset is
Yeah.
like exchanges, and then exchanges people can go to that they don't have to KYC. It's
Yeah.
like
Yeah, no, totally.
and if you're one of those, you can kind of just make some money until you know have to.
Well, so Bybit isn't KYC yet. It's like one of the bigger ones. Bybit and not Darebit, Prime, I guess, are the kind of the uh, Bybit came along obviously like during the last bull run, and then Prime kind of came along in the last bull run as far as I knew them, and then MEXC came after the last bull run, and it's now trying to like get users to change in the middle of a bear market, which is scary because you know how many times we watched what was that Australian one, like Paradise Exchange or something like that, that fucking old, it got hacked or something like that. It wasn't Polonex. It was something like that. It was like Paradise or something like that. It was like down under exchange where you like lost all your money. But there's so many exchanges that have been hacked and liquidated, and it's just a scary place to be sometimes. Like having money. I'm just constantly moving my money off exchange. Like if you're not on a big one, if you're not in the top 5, I just I got some heavier money on some of the bigger exchanges, but I won't put a heavy amount of money on like some of the newer ones. I'll say that right now. And I don't blame most people for not putting their money on a new exchange. It's just you know, Bybit has been freezing a lot. It doesn't freeze when you use TEALSTREET though, Mandalo.
Dude, but I think I mean, aside from freezing, I think Bybit's one of the best like customer support exchanges out there. Like they'll like honor like you were saying like big wicks, or there's some like other stuff like I've heard them refunding liquidations and stuff when there was like there's some like disconnect between like their market and everyone else's. I've heard them do that, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, that is cool. I've never had to use their
This
customer
is
service,
basically
which is like I feel like a good thing.
yeah, probably. This is what I pretty much stare at now all day is I stare at Bitcoin 5 minute, like when I'm scalping, like in and out all day, I'm just staring and looking to see like, okay, you know, DXY is going up. So Bitcoin should be, you know, going down, but it's not. So like if it's lagging a little bit, try to catch a short for like a 10-minute move or something. But like this is, I mean, this is what moves the market now, in my opinion. You've got 2-year treasury rates, which is kind of useless on a low time frame, but it's interesting to see. The same thing for this, like you know, but I'll just iterate it, is like these go up. It's kind of enforcing people to get out of stocks and into bonds
Yep.
because it's a better value. So like, you know, the value of the dollar goes up, everything just falls, especially Bitcoin. Dude, I can't even trade weekends anymore. I don't trade weekends because I don't know how without any like confluence from SPX or Dixie like throughout the day. I have no idea what to do. I just look for like really entries.
No, go ahead.
You know,
You look for a bunch
no,
of.
that's all. I've just looked for like good lucky entries. I can't scalp it though.
I feel like you just put a
Anymore.
if you're gonna take like one trade a weekend, like let's say you just want to take one trade a weekend, you just stick it at that. Like you can't go wrong. You put a magnet at the CME, and like 8 out of 10 times, you know you're gonna hit that CME price again. So you play the outliers, right? Like if it drops down and you know we closed at 19.4 and it drops down to fucking 18.8, you know, you take a chance at a long when you hit that support at 18.8, 18.9. and then hopefully you fill the gap. Like I said, that's like a 7 out of 10. 7 out of weekends, you're going to come back to that CME by the Monday. That's kind of a good way to play the weekends if you're going to play it as a safe scalper, you know. Play the outlier, the deviations from the CME that happens Friday, and then if you know you get wrecked a couple times. Now, the last time I really saw people get wrecked on the CME was actually the December before the bull run, which was interesting. We made a bunch of CME gaps right around then, like 9K, 9,200, 9,700, and we ended up filling a couple like 11K on the way up, but yeah, that was the last time I saw them leave some CMEs open like consecutively. But if you played the CME close, which I don't know where the CME closed, I think you have it right
like
there.
here-ish.
19,425.
19.3.
Yeah, 19,425. I think I'm looking at your right. The 19. That's the BTC 1 exclamation right there. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
But that doesn't tell you, for whatever reason, the trading view price there doesn't tell you exactly what the CME is, but it's around there. We'll just say 19.4. But if we get like a pump of like 20K, and unless we flip like a really big SR, unless we flip something on like a decent time frame over the weekend, you know you're gonna come back down to that CME sooner than later, and it's kind of a decent trade to play. But you know, like you said,
When did that?
Huh.
Wait. I was gonna say, when does CME? When was that established? I can't remember.
2018, I believe, or 2000. Yeah, 2019, I believe. Look at the. Sorry, 2017.
17.
Wow. 18.
2018,
18,
basically.
Yeah. I was thinking.
Look at that. It's like we're at the original CME Open.
What's interesting is, like I said, they've kind of just started correlating everything to general markets, which is just stupid. I don't know. Although you still get the good volatility with Bitcoin. I don't think people understand. Like, you can't 5-6% moves. You can't get shitty Russell 2000 stocks. Man, you can make some good money in this market, whether it's from a shitcoin or Bitcoin. Yeah, you make some good money in this market.
Did you ever do Forex?
No, I never did. But I don't know if I ever will. I really like options. People don't realize like options are one of the best ways to leverage and with a minimum risk. Like you're buying a contract that says, I want to buy 100 of this stock. Or sell 100 of this stock. But either way, you buying this contract, you guarantee a price. You buy it at that price, the contract. You don't have to exercise the contract. You could just sell the contract for more because somebody else might want to exercise it and get like Apple at 140 or Apple at 170 and sell it, for a profit or whatever. So I found like options are the best for stock market, and then because a prop trader, you learn with options. That's kind of how I started, is with prop trading, and then with crypto, perpetual, and all that stuff. It was a little bit different. But I had to learn how to short with perpetual, and then you learn options. And options are fun though; they're a lot of fun. You also, the best part is you could take options, and they're just like pain free. You don't have to do anything, especially in like a change of trend like this. You don't have to do anything for like a couple weeks. You just watch it. You're like,
and you can TP them whenever.
Yeah.
You don't have to. People don't realize that too a lot. I've noticed they think you have to just wait till expiry. You could just it's like a normal trade.
Yep. Yeah. So if you buy an option, like I was explaining the Apple one earlier today, but if you buy like an option contract for $350 and it starts going your way, you go in the money. That's what they call it, in the money. Starts going your way, and 2 weeks later that option contract is worth $800 that you bought for $350. You could sell it on the market for $800 to somebody else. You're just selling the contract to somebody else. You're not exercising it. You're just selling it to somebody else that takes the option to exercise it. And so your option prices go up. It's like you buy a contract, but like, hey, your contract's now worth a lot more money this week than it was 2 weeks ago. There's a bunch of people out there that want that contract, and they're willing to pay you a lot more money. And so that's how you exercise it. I mean, not exercise it. That's how you just sell your contracts. You buy and sell the contract, or you can exercise it. And I did this once, but I did it with Coinbase a year ago. But I bought at 230 Coinbase a call, and I ended up exercising it because I was still learning options. So I thought I had to do it, and I borrowed all this money to like buy a fucking 100 Coinbase at 230, so I could sell it at 360, I think, before it just crashed to inevitable hell. And I borrowed all this money, and I made the same amount of money I would have made if I just sold the contract, because that's literally the correlation. I didn't need to borrow the money at all. Like I literally had to learn like the hard way. Like the contract money in the money is the same as if you had bought the stock, the 100 shares, and sold it and made your profit that way. So
Yeah. Yeah.
you know, it's directly correlated. Like there's not like, I mean, maybe you might make a couple dollars like a arbitration one way or another, but it's not like huge.
Me and Sam used to do this thing. There was like on FTX. I don't know if you ever used FTX's options, but they don't have like a real marketplace. Like you ask for an option quote, and they like some party that you don't know just throws a number at you, and you say yes or no. But there was this like thing you could do where if like we were pumping into the close for the FTX options, it would be like an hour until close, or even like a half hour until the options expire. So they'd be like really, really cheap, right? But like if the market was like about to pump or do like a huge move down or a huge move up or something, that was like twice I think we did this, where we both just bought a shitload of like calls or puts for like $10 or something ridiculous each, right?
Yeah.
That were like $50 away or $100 away.
Yeah.
But like it wasn't accounting for like at close there was so much volatility. You would just get like 100 Bitcoin and then catch like $100 move on them, and then they would expire like right when the market opened. It was kind of sick. It's like you can't do it every time, and it only worked with them because their pricing was like so weird. I don't know if they ever fixed it, but
that's crazy. I did I caught one of the AMC pumps a year ago on a call on Ameritrade. I caught one of the AMC pumps on the day of. So I saw that we flipped all-time high at $35, and I put a call in that day. It went up to $70, and I probably didn't TP to like 52 because it got rejected at $70. In the same day, it went from 35 to 70 down to like $49. I think it closed that. You can imagine in one fucking day, a stock. And I was like up, like I bought one option, a call. I was up like $1,200. I think I cashed out like 400 or something in one day. But it shows you what you can kind of do. It was a leverage trade, because that's what an option is. Just a type of way to take leverage in the market. It's different from like perpetual. I took a long right there, by the way, because the volatility. You see how the volatility is ticking up on the after that dead candle. So yeah. I took a
I actually kind of looks clean on 5 minutes.
That hourly, and then if you that's that exactly in that 5 minute. You see how they're holding that 19.350. All those wicks down there are just very clean. Zoom out.
And he has really nice validation.
Yeah, exactly. I feel like everyone's shorting this right now, and after we lost a monthly in 3 months, but it's a weekend, so I'll just fucking put up my stop loss and go to bed. Anyways, Frag, I'll let you go. Thanks for coming by. Go download TEALSTREET, !TEALSTREET, fam, right there in chat. Go check out Frag. Go check out Trader Sam. Frag has the stamina to do 9 to 4 New York Open to close 5 days a week, which is like awesome. I'm going over there to harass him all the time now on the weekly basis, on a daily basis during the week. But go over there, Trader Samwise channel. Go download TEALSTREET. Give yourself like that institutional edge. I think that why not? Anyways, mad love. I'm gonna call it a night. Friday.
Having me, man. Yeah, that's been a blast. A lot. Oh, you were on my channel, or I'm on your channel.
Yeah,
it was a good time.
Yeah, no, it's finally good to talk to somebody besides like these people that claim that they're real people, but I know they're all fucking CZ bots from Twitter. I know it. I know it.
Probably.
It's fucking CZ, dude. CZ. You're harassing me. You know,
Yeah, how do you know I'm not a CZ bot? Hmm?
oh god, I know because you're over
Dude,
you're in my country. We're like
the
fucking the
uh the
same, man.
exchanges, the exchanges are the ones winning though. They're taking a little bit of everything that we do. Oh, they're the ones winning all of this.
so
CZ's Gigabrain.
so imagine this: when CZ opened Binance in September 2017. It was really like August 2017. They started with 28,000. Now they have over 600,000 just from taking.
How much is 600,000 Bitcoin?
I don't know. They have the most Bitcoin. I think them and Grayscale. I think.
Times That's like 12 billion. Yeah, I believe it though. They're huge. It's unbelievably huge.
Yeah. So but that's some interesting facts that they started with 29,000 and now they have over 600,000 and they've just done it. I believe it. It's a little bit. I hate to be the guy that's like, oh, it's a scam, but they pump and dump those shit coins on you and they take your Bitcoin from you in exchange, and the Bitcoin's the king. Just be careful. But
They want that Bitcoin. They want their BNB. Their BNB. We'll talk
dude,
about it
I
another
was just
time, but I think we both agree.
yeah, you see that? You see that BNB Bitcoin? Oh my god, dude. BNB Bitcoin, I just realized today, is like fucking still climbing to all-time highs. I just realized it today, like, what the fuck? It looks like the fucking dollar, dude.
Well, they're. I don't know if you've used Binance. I'm sure you have, but they take
Yeah,
BNB as fees, right? So
yeah,
like they're like constantly DCAing BNB from their own users. So like they're just like accumulating it all back and taking it off the market. I think it's like honestly kind of a brilliant way to just make your own coin go up.
yeah. Well, that and then um I remember originally when I first made my Binance account before I got kicked off as a North Korean. Um But I remember like they used to, if you had BNB, you could pay your fee or you could get like 20% off your trading fees with it. So like I would always have like 100 BNB because I got off my trading fees by paying for it with BNB. It was like having Tron for Tether. So like you have your Tron for moving Tether around. At least that's how I do it. And then you had your BNB for trading on
Right.
Binance. But there's an interesting giant rising wedge on the daily. I don't know. See, I'd love for this thing to break down, just because I don't want to see BNB take over as fucking the new coin. But
You should look at okay. It's kind of a meme. Like I'll admit, but look at BNB ETH.
BNB,
I
ooh,
make a joke. BNB ETH, BNB/ETH.
mm-hmm.
Uh, I'm watching your stream. I think it's like delayed.
It's got to be ETH BNB, right?
No,
That's
go BNB ETH. I think there should be one. Get rid of the slash. Let me look at what it is on mine actually. Sorry to hold you up.
no, no, you're good, you're
So
good, you're
one
good.
last thing. One last thing. Uh, yeah, BNB ETH, no slash.
Oh, ETH no slash. Okay. I want to see this though. I'm very interested. Ooh,
I have a little bit of a delay, so I'm waiting for it to come up.
ooh. Sure, it did well after the merge, huh? Oh yeah, it did. Look at that monthly.
Right, but
That's a
look at
cup and
some of the
handle. Oh my god, that looks a little bit like cup and
look at
handle.
look at back in beginning of 2021 though. Like such, they've done some massive moves. Like
Wow.
it's like I swear, like flipping. I think it could be possible that BNB flips ETH. Like it's not like ETH flips Bitcoin. It's like BNB flips ETH.
I mean, they're setting it up that way. He has. I believe CZ's been buying a lot at 18K. Supposedly, there's been huge volume on Binance, and I think that guy, dude. Guy's never selling his. Um, they want to be the market makers. They want to kind of be the king. Look, this looks like a clean monthly. Damn, dude. I feel like I should just like
Buy BNB.
get some. Well, I was gonna say not buy B&B, but like, how would you do this? I guess buy B&B and then long.
Yeah,
Like
short ETH and buy
yeah,
BNB.
short. Yeah, but wait, you could if you longed your ETH. You know how like if you short Bitcoin, people don't think this way, but when you short Bitcoin on the way down, you make more money because the price of Bitcoin goes down. But if you're perpetual shorting, if you're inverse perpetual shorting Bitcoin, like actually not using Tether, but you're using Bitcoin to short, then you're making more money. But if you long, you're making less money because you're making less Bitcoin. Does that make sense? You ever notice like in a short
Right,
of
yeah.
Bitcoin, if you use
Yeah, if you're an
Bitcoin to,
inverse.
yeah, if you're using inverse and you're using Bitcoin, you short, you're making more money on the way down. So I'm just wondering,
You're getting more Bitcoin.
yeah, you're getting more Bitcoin, exactly. But like you're getting more Bitcoin, exactly, even though the price is going lower. And so because you're accumulating more Bitcoin, that's good because in the long term, Bitcoin would be more than what it is supposedly because you are shorting it. But regardless, I mean, like that's how my whole thing. But like, is there a way you could like take advantage of this kind of like? I guess it wouldn't really be an arbitrage. It would just be
A synthetic pair is what they call them now.
yeah, synthetic
It's like
pair.
kind of a hot term. Yeah.
Huh. So what you buy? We buy BNB and short Ether with it. That's what you would do.
Yeah. So
That's
like
what you would do. That's what
you
you do.
buy,
You
yeah.
buy a bunch of fucking Ether and you short Ether with it. Yeah. All right. Okay. That's the idea.
Yeah,
That's the
BNB
plan.
crazy though.
Yeah. That's the plan, baby.
Buy BNB, I guess. See, I am a CZ.
No, that's actually I love that idea. This looks really. This is crazy. Look at this accumulation. This like. I mean, we haven't broken the high yet on the monthly. I'm interested what this 3 month looks like. Woo! Oh my
And
god!
it's also like a testament that ETH is dying a bit. You know, like ETH is doing
Yeah.
pretty crappy.
Look at this quarterly.
It's, I mean, man, if you
Holy shit,
were
dude.
logging BNB in 2021 instead of ETH,
Yeah.
like,
Yeah, I know. Dude, I've owned BNB like under $20 and I sold it all at $35. But people think they're like, oh yeah, if you bought BNB below. I was like, none of you guys would have held it to $500. Get off your fucking asses. Nobody
they
holds it
used
to
it for
$500.
like,
You know? No one holds it that long. Like you said, fucking no one buy. Very few people buy at 3K and hold it that long. And most of those people that held it at 69K are still holding. They didn't sell at 69K. Most of those people, it is fucking A, man. Anyways, Frag.
the only people who buy the bottom and sell the top are God and liars.
Yeah. I tell people, I was like, all you need to do is catch like 10%. Just catch like, be like a month delayed from like a top or bottom, and you're gonna make a lot of money in just a spot position. Just a month delay, a month or two delay from a top or bottom, you're fine. Cycles like 3 years in a normal economy. So we're talking about like 1 or 2 months away from the bottom or top. I mean, and then just go on vacation or go back to your regular job and wait and call it a day. Anyways, Frag.
All right.
Have a good night, bud.
Yeah, have a good night. See you, chat. It was a lot of fun. See you guys on Monday. Talk to you later, Savage.
Later, bud. Fam, appreciate all you for listening. Mad love. Y'all have a good night.